We connect after the break.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Life's battle during retirement are not won by the strongest. Sooner or later, those who win are those who prepare for it. Ensuring your future is your responsibility to your family and loved ones. Progress Trustees, a company that guarantees a cheerful life of retirement for both formal and informal sector workers. The Progress Occupational Pension Scheme, the Progress Provident Fund Scheme, and the Progress Personal Pension Scheme helps you achieve peace of mind during retirement. We also provide administration services for employer-sponsored schemes, including staff welfare schemes seeking to outsource their day-to-day administration of their second-tier occupational pension and third-tier provident fund scheme. Start your journey to envisage quality life during retirement by contacting us on 0504 368 048 on our website www.progresstrusteesgh.com. Progress Trustees, a joyous retirement begins here.
You're live on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Ghana Connect. My name is Evans Mensah. In the last few weeks, Ghana has been begging.
We are looking for, as quickly as possible, a creditor committee to be established, so we will have the body with whom we can engage to bring those discussions as well as quickly as possible. You have good relations with China. We'd like you to to encourage China to participate. Very important consideration for us is the Financial Stability Fund that has been promised as one of the key outcomes of these negotiations. And
at an international forum over the last week, our president, made the point on behalf of the rest of the African continent that, the rest of the world have left Africa to fend for itself.
We on the continent have been left alone to fend for ourselves. We saw that during the COVID-19 pandemic, when even access to vaccines became a major problem for the African continent.
And soon we'll be sending a delegation to China to beg even more. We've begged Germany, we've begged Europe, and now we will be sending in March. Once the Chinese finish with their Congress, yes, they can't even meet us because they're holding a Congress. They can't because you're holding a Congress. We'll send a delegation there to beg even more. In a few days, Ghana will turn 66 years. We'll be 66. and still begging under a government that promised Ghana beyond aid. In fact, it's so bad that the German chief diplomat in Ghana, the ambassador, Daniel Crow, is now even urging members of parliament and Ghanaian businessmen with interest in China to join the begging train.
The President, the Minister of Finance have appealed to the German visitors to support Ghana in convincing China to come to the table. We are ready to do that. We already are in that. At the same time, I would like to encourage all Ghanaians who have strong ties with China, who are doing nice business with China, to also engage them and convince them that it's time to sit down with all the other creditors and agree on a package. Time is of the essence. Time is running out. Without this agreement with the bilateral creditors, the IMF package is in severe danger. So, if there's any Ghanaian member of Parliament listening who is very much engaged with business in China, please make best use in the interest of Ghana and the people in Ghana. I said Germany is prepared to.
So that's the German ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Crow. And all this is happening just days before our Independence Day. We will celebrate a day we became very proud country. We became masters of our own destiny. We'll be 66 years. And Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was so confident 66 years ago when he made this declaration.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
Tonight, a simple question, really. Are we? I'm joined by many connectors here in Ghana and across the globe. Enes Ayim is a tax expert and a graduate student with an interest in economics and policy, public policy. Professor Obodele Kombon is an associate professor and research coordinator of language, literature, and drama section of the African Studies Department, University of Ghana. Jod Poku is an accountant and radio show host, connects with us from Georgia in the USA. Dr. Lloyd Amwa is a director of the Center for Asian Studies at the University of Ghana. Julius Anthony is a youth activist and graduate student at the University of Ghana. But I want to start first with a member of parliament. This is on the back of the German ambassador directly mentioning MPs by name and says if there's any MP out there with an interest in China, you better join the train and get China and help getting China to the table. That is part of the begging train. I want to bring in the minorities ranking member on Foreign Affairs Committee. He's your spokesperson on that subject and joins us on the telephone line right now. Samuel Kudeta Blakwa, thank you very much for your time here on Ghana Connect. Okay, we'll get him when he joins us. We'll get his thoughts on this. Let me go to my connectors who are joining us right now on the telephone line. And before we even go to the fundamental questions posed to us by Nkrumah, who's long dead, but his declaration is now asking us very serious questions as we approach independence. I bet all of you possibly would have heard the German ambassador to Ghana and what he's been saying today. If you haven't, he's actually now telling us about some things we should do ourselves to fix our own problem, including dealing with our own size of government. And he compares it to his own government.
Did I hear you right? You said size of the government? Well, I only can compare and with other countries like my own, and I can just come to the conclusion that there's a huge number of the number is much higher than in my country. So that might bring me to the conclusion maybe there's room for improvement. And we have a very, very, Ghana has a very, very dense layers of institutions and responsibilities all over the country. The number is much higher than in my country. I cannot go out to the international community say I need help, but I'm not willing to cut my own budget expenditures.
I want to start with you, Prof. Kambon, if you're on with me. This is a foreign diplomat in our country holding a press conference and telling us what you've just heard there. Give me your reaction.
Very good. So there are several books that will be useful. So I want to start off with those before we come directly into what was just said. Some of them include Neo-Colonialism, the Last Stage of Imperialism by Nana Kwame Nkrumah, where he actually defines neo-colonialism as the state in which the state has all the outward trappings of independence. That is to say, it has a flag, it has a national anthem, it has all of these things. However, economically, all the strings are pulled from the outside. So that's one text. So you put a lot of what we're seeing right now in context. Another text that would be useful is Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And in that, essentially, the author goes through his own role in assuring that he could bring various quote-unquote third world countries into the political sphere of the so-called West by, essentially cooking up numbers, economic numbers, so forth and so on, in order to get them to take loans. And then once they take the loans are not actually transferred to the country, they're transferred to their cousins because the conditionality is that, for this loan, you have to use this contractor from, for example, the U.S., or you have to use, these materials that are coming from the U.S. So literally the aid is only going from one U.S. account to another U.S. account, and it never actually hits there. So they make money off of that. But then in addition to that, the country that supposedly got that aid has to pay it back, plus all types of exorbitant interest. And what they do is essentially those are the economic hitmen. And if you have a leader who decides that he's not going to go along with it, the main thing that they would do is make sure that president died in a plane crash. So we saw that, on the continent, Nana Samora Machel, you saw that, in terms of Ecuador, all of these leaders who wanted to stand up to the so-called West, that it was either we will enrich you personally or we will kill you in a plane crash. Another text that I'm actually reading right now is called White Malice, and it's the CIA and the covert recolonization of Africa, and essentially goes into these same things. So the reason why I bring this up is because, it's essentially, being between a rock and a hard place, where if you go for, these loans and things of that nature, then, they'll say, all right, we'll enrich you personally, but if you don't go for them, then they say that we'll kill you, directly. And we have so many cases of either being killed. For example, Nana Thomas Sankara, in his address to other African leaders, he says that, if we do not pay, he's talking about foreign debt, the capital lenders will not die, and I'm quoting him. If we pay, we will die. We cannot pay and we don't want to pay. We are not responsible for the debt burden. We have already paid a lot of the debt. We are asked to cooperate in researching balance mechanisms, balance in favor of those who own the financial institutions and use the power against the peoples. We cannot be accomplices. The Paris Club is there. Let's create the Addis Ababa Club for canceling our foreign debt. Our club should say our debt will not be paid. We should explain in other conferences that we cannot pay. We must be united. Otherwise, individually, we will be murdered. Avoiding debt repayment is a conditio sine qua non to allow us to free resources for our own development. So he said that in 1986 at the OAU, but then, of course, we know what happened to him in 1987. So this is what we're seeing, of those who either will not allow themselves to get into debt in the first place, or those who say that, all right, we're already in debt either from so-called independence or whatever. But again, we see this play time and time again. So essentially, before we start the conversation, I just want to situate it in the context of what happened to the good leaders who said we won't get in debt in the first place, or who said we won't pay the debt. And then it helps us to understand why our misleaders are doing the types of things that they're doing, because they've seen examples of those who have, tried to buck the system. And then
so that gives us a certain historical context for the conversation. Do I hear you say that our current predicament is fundamentally down to neocolonialism?
Very much so, very much so. So there are internal aspects to the neocolonialism, and then there are also external aspects to the neocolonialism.
And I'm going to come to you to expand. I'm going to come to you, Prof, to expand. But that's a very interesting beginning take on the subject. Ernest is joining us, connecting also with us. Ernest, do you agree with that?
Thanks, Evans. So I think that principally we are also architects of our own misfortune. Because if you look at what we have done since independence, we have not managed to live within our means. We have always gone over budget, and consistently governments over the years have spent beyond their means, and this has piled up fiscal deficits, which has accumulated into public debts over time. So I think that principally we can always point an accusing finger at the Western powers, but we also should remember that some of our fingers will also be pointing down to us. So we should also look within and find out how we have contributed to the situation we find ourselves now as a country.
Okay, so that's a balancing view there from what Pro's position. Let me expand this even more and bring in George Poku, who is connecting with us from the US. He lives in one of those so-called imperialist countries, and so he's a man who migrated from here and went there and is making a living there. George, thanks for connecting with us. But you've heard the two positions as expressed there. We've been begging, as I've just been explaining there, for quite a while, and it's been intensified because of our current economic conditions. The two views is, one, neocolonialism is fundamentally to blame. The second view is, we should take part of the blame. Are you in the camp of neocolonialism? We should take part of the blame, or we should take all the blame? Where do you put this?
I am in the camp of we should take all the blame, because at the end of the day, the country has continuously shown that we are bereft of leadership. We are bereft of people that can take the bull by the horn. Malaysia, which also was colonized by the British and got independence roughly around the same time we got independence, was left with less resources than the Brits left for us, our own money that they left for us. But now we go back to Malaysia with a pan in our hand and our hands in our hands, begging them. Leaders since the days of, let me just put it this way, after Kwame Nkrumah up till now, have not had a clear view of where they want to put this country and how they are going to do it, point blank period. And so we haven't had any leaders that have the testicular fortitude to say that this is the way the country is going to go. I am not going to pander to anything, but I am going to set the country on a path for success. And that is why we are where we are. We should not blame neocolonialism. Again, half of the people that have ruled the country after Kwame Nkrumah have all, even including Kwame Nkrumah, have all been educated by the Westerns. So you definitely are going to have undertones of how they think and how things happen. But the thing about it is we just lack the right leaders that will sacrifice. Greed is killing us, 1. 2, lack of good leadership. And 3, just plain old people not learning from history. If you allow history to repeat itself, it definitely is going to charge you a higher price. And that is what we are looking at right now.
George, let me pick your thought on something, because you live in a white man's country. Let me ask you that. I'm pretty sure you heard the German ambassador to Ghana and the things that he was saying directly at the press conference to ask the Ghanaian people. Because, of course, he's earned the right to say so, many have said, because we've gone to them to beg. You listen to him as a Ghanaian living in the U.S. How does that make you feel?
I am appalled. I am absolutely and totally appalled, because, again, it shouldn't take the German chancellor or councillor to come and tell us that we are running a government that is too big to manage. 85 ministers of state, that is what they are trimming it down to. What are they doing? And these have deputies and deputy deputies and deputy deputies, and all of these people are getting cars being bought for them, house help being hired to them, police being detailed to them. This is a country that is not living within its means. If I make $10 a month and I'm spending $25, where is the devil in this? Where is the sense in that? At the end of the day, you, Evans, you know what you make at the end of the month, and you try to live your life within what you have to do. We have heard about the year of return brought 3-point-something billion cedis. Where is the money? Where did the money go? And why are we back to where we are, going out to bed? We have gone through ERP, we have gone through SAP. Again, like I said, I think the last written developmental plan of Ghana that was not given to us by either the World Bank or the IMF is the one that the champion wrote, I think around 1979. After that, every sort of developmental plan we have gone to has been by virtue of the fact that we have gone to these agencies for help, and they have given us a way for us to live and structure our life.
Okay, George, stay with me. Let me bring in quickly Julius, who joined us. He's a young man. I want to hear from that young generation. When you wake up today, you've been told about the heroics of the freedom fighters, etc., and how Ghana was a very proud nation back then. And I remember, actually, he's a current finance minister who, one of the fundamental reasons he insisted we shouldn't go to the IMF, because he says, quote him, Ghana is a proud nation. We are proud people, but we've gone. Right, and now we have the Germans hold a press conference to tell us what we need to do. They're dictating to us now. I want to bring in a staunch Nkrumahist, Kwame Jantua, who's joining us right now, connecting with us via Zoom. Hello, Kwame.
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers, and good evening to the other panelists.
And I invited Kwame to connect because he sent me a very interesting message when we started the show, and this is Ghana Connect, and so anybody can do so. Send me one, and if I see that you have you have a very interesting passionate point, obviously I can invite you to join the conversation. This is the people's conversation. Kwame, let's come to you first before you even go into the the dynamics of how this plays out in the context of our independence. And we're going to have a series of conversations because we're approaching 66 years. We need to reflect. Guess you've been listening to the German ambassador. I wonder how does that make you feel as an Nkrumahist?
I cringe. Today is 57 years after the overthrow of President Nkrumah. And really, what have we done to help this country? I didn't think that it was up to the president to beg the Germans, to beg the Chinese for us. Why couldn't he get up himself and go straight to China and speak with the president of China? Especially looking at where we are today with our finances. And now we get the Germans telling us that it depends on how we look at our expenditure. How many people, having told the government that cut your expenditure, how many? Since January of this year, have we not been saying it? Have we not talked about it? The economists in this country, have we not talked about it? Even the way we even looked at how to do this reconstruction, shouldn't we have sat around the table as a country with our top economists, and we have top economists in this country, to sit and discuss what we were going to put in front of the IMF? Did we do it? And when we said, look, we are not interested in you keeping the finance minister there, what did the president tell us? Look, it's a shame and it is sad and it is very embarrassing to hear our partners tell us that we should cut our expenditure. Why is the president so stubborn? What is it about him that he doesn't want to listen to the people of Ghana? And you know what gets to me is the people of Ghana who put him there. He didn't get there on his own. And he should listen to us. You see, we've forgotten the crucial bit of being in power. Service to the people. Service. You are there to serve us, and you're there to listen to us. You're not there to push your ideas onto us. It is us and you. We have put you there. We all can't go there and handle the country's finances and handle the country. So he said, you go there. And for all the things that this president told us, and looking at the background of this president, and I've known him since I was 15. He was one of the youngest people in my father's generation when they were fighting a Champions Union government. One of the youngest. So he's been through the mill. And for all the head of states we had in this country, he's one person who understands my father's generation and this generation. What has gone wrong?
Kwame, stay with me. I want to open up the conversation a bit more from the initial reactions, and I want to come back to that very initial question we were asking, and we'll go to the Nkrumah question later. But then the question, Prof. Campbell, I come back to you. So we've been begging for quite a while. You started by suggesting that this our penchant to beg is possibly fundamentally because of the architecture laid for us by the neo-colonialist. Is that your fundamental explanation for why Africa has been begging and still continues to beg ourselves today?
So, as I was about to say, there's a quote by Nana Kwame Ture where it says that you can understand no problem in the lives of an oppressed people and leave out the oppressor. Anytime you try to, understand the problems of the oppressed people and leave out the oppressor, you will always blame the oppressed people for their own problems. And then there's a quote by noted psychologist, the late Nana Amos Wilson, where he says, if you want to understand any problem, don't look at who suffers from the problem, look at who benefits from the problem. And once we understand who benefits from the problem, we will understand who created the problem in the first place, including the problem of the misleaders, right? So when we have those who are educated in the so-called West, when we have those whose orientation is such that every Sunday they go to church to pray to a white man, right? I'm tying all of these things together, that these things can't be seen in a vacuum. If you have someone who is taught to think that God's only son looks exactly like the one who is giving them aid, that's going to have repercussions. If you have people who have all types of white people names, all of these things are going to have implications in terms of what they do and what they don't do. So again, most people who I know, they only look at the internal aspect. And I say the equivalent would be like a child in a high school, and they think that everything stops with the headmaster. They think that everything stops with the principal. But until they understand that there's a much broader system that has things that are, yes, going on inside of the high school, but then there are also things beyond the high school. There's the school board, there's the Ministry of Education, there are all these things that are interacting. Then they can start to understand what's going on internally and then also what's going on externally. They can start to understand how the misleaders are chosen for us, right? We're taught to think that, we elect our own leaders, but then we have to come to the question of, we have counter evidence of that. When we, decided on Nana Patrice Lumumba, what happened externally to make sure that Patrice Lumumba, who was chosen internally by the people, would not see it through his entire term? What happened to Nana Kwame Nkrumah? What happened to Nana Thomas Sankara, as I mentioned before? I can go down a list of no less than dozens.
Yeah, but Prof, many will tell you and ask you the question. I mean, all the examples you're citing, this is history. We are talking about 2023. We still seriously blaming something that happened decades ago. And by the way, Africa is not the only continent colonized. Many, many other countries were colonized who are currently fares well. So what's the difference there?
Very good. So go ahead. So as I was mentioning, there are internal components and external components. The reason why I'm talking about the external components is because most people only know about the internal components. And then they, again, what it leads them to is, all right, so now let's go beat up other Africans because we're our own problems, we're our own worst enemy, we're all so forth. So if we understand that this is people's analysis and every single person I've met has this analysis, then it comes to the question of how come that analysis has not led us anywhere. For me, one thing that we have to understand is that we have enemies, and then once we know we have enemies, now we can start doing things internally in order to fight off those enemies. And the analogy is, if there's a killer in your house, right, then you can start blaming yourself and say, you know what, I think my wife was stabbed because I didn't sweep the floor well. Oh, I think that my granny was, mutilated because I didn't wash the dishes. You're trying to look only internally, but you're not dealing with the killer that is in your house. And this, for me, is inappropriate behavior. So the first thing that you have to do to take responsibility is say, I have enemies. What am I going to do about those enemies? How am I going to stop those enemies? But
and who in this contest
that we have enemies in the first place?
Yeah, and this contest
we can never take appropriate steps to say, how can I stop them from getting me trapped in debt?
Yeah, I mean, Prof, I want to ask a question on that. So in this particular contest, who should be asking these questions?
So for me, it would be the Ghanaians who have a bad analysis of the situation. They can only see up to the president, and they don't see anything beyond the president.
Okay, and then the follow-up question will be, if the Ghanaians, we are 66 years soon, for 66 years, why? We haven't been asking these questions and finding answers to them for 66 years? Is that even an excuse?
Come again.
I'm just asking. You said the Ghanaians should be asking these questions and find the answers. 66 years. What happened to asking these questions for 66 years and finding the solution? 66 is a long time to ask and solve.
Well, the foundation is that there is no educational system in Ghana. There's only a miseducational system. And this is the reason why we have a poor analysis of just about everything that you can imagine. So when I say that there's no educational system, the miseducational system, an example would be most Ghanaians who I know, they know all about Napoleon and they're taught to extol him. They know about Julius Caesar and they're taught to extol him. They know about Plato, they know about Socrates, they know about every white man who ever sneezed, but they know absolutely nothing about themselves. I teach Intro to African Studies, so I know that these people have been miseducated. They don't know anything they've ever done in the past, and therefore it's very difficult for them to think for themselves about what they can do in the future. The best that they tend to do is imitate the people who they've been taught to idolize. They know about Socrates, they don't know about Imhotep. They know about Napoleon, they don't know about Dessalines. They know about Julius Caesar, but then they don't know about Queen Nzinga. They don't know anything about who they are. And I'm talking about these are students. When I come to Intro to African Studies class, I ask them, what do you think of when you think of Africa? They say poverty, corruption, greed, mismanagement, bribery, so forth and so on. And I say, I'm amazed that you didn't mention writing because writing was invented in Africa. They have no idea. They have been miseducated.
And very interesting thoughts, Prof. And I may add to that list. They know about Spider-Man, but they don't know about Kwekwa Nancy. George, what do you say to Prof? What do you say to Prof on his position on why we continued begging and Ghana we've been begging the last few weeks?
I want to say something about something that Kwame said before I come to what Prof is saying.
Feel free, please.
At the end of the day, Kwame was asking why Akufo-Addo cannot go and speak directly to the Chinese president rather than trying to go through Germany or through some adversaries. One, Akufo-Addo speaks like we are first world and behaves like that, but we are not. Geopolitically, you know that China sides with Russia. And since the beginning of this Russia-Ukraine war, Akufo-Addo has constantly been pointing fingers at Russia and bashing Russia, knowing very well that your biggest creditor is their ally. And you continue on that geopolitical path. When you need help, you cannot go directly to them. Because again, it is going to not sit well with somebody like Putin. Like, hey, this guy he has nothing, but he's been speaking down to me because of this Russia-Ukraine war, and you decide to help him. So we need to know where we are in the geopolitical world and pander accordingly. But to the point that Prof is making, Prof, I understand all you are saying. I mean, it's one of the biggest things about we as Ghanaians and we as Africans. We forget about our history and our way of doing things, and we bring in what somebody else gave to us. I can agree with that. When you start practicing African traditional religion, they will tell you you are being fetish, but they would accept what the Catholics have brought in quite nicely and not complain about it at all. But both are being fetish. We were here when the Queen died, and we saw a goat being taken and using it to do tofiakwa before they killed it in order to send off the Queen. But if you as an African, you wake up in the morning and you say asase and you say and you take a cock and do the same thing, they will tell you are being fetish. So I understand your point. But when we come to the economics of it, I seriously don't think neocolonialism is what is doing us in. It is one, lack of serious leadership. Two, greed that you mentioned. In a book that was written by Thomas Burgess called The Looting Machine, Thomas Burgess was able to outline how one Chinese man called Sampa was able to accumulate more land in a country like Angola than the Angolians themselves had. And he was pillaging that land. That same process started happening in Ghana when Galamsey started. But we turned a blind eye like an ostrich. We put our head in the ground and continued borrowing. We went there borrowing. It is There are a lot of examples in Africa whereby the Chinese have moved in, and now states that were independent and sovereign have become vassal states to the Chinese, because they would give you. A time will come that they will come back and say, okay, since you can't pay, now this is what we are going to do. In the process of doing that, they start amassing state properties and literally take over your country. There were examples there. We weren't. It's not like we don't know. We know these countries, Tanzania, all of these countries, they are there in East Africa that have gone through this. So why did we sit down? There is an adage in that I can say that if you see somebody's beard burning, you just fetch water and put it by yourself. Don't say it's not your case, because it could come to you. So you have to be prepared. So leadership is what has let us down, because again, when you see state property being taken over or state-run institutions being taken over by Chinese of sovereign African countries, and them now appointing Chinese people to head those agencies, these countries have become vassal countries to China. So why do we, a country that is that endowed, allow ourselves to get to this point?
Okay, so you've added a different dimension. We're begging because of greed. Okay, so let's go to the big question that Nkrumah is asking us 66 years on. We need to assess something he said. And Ernest, I'll bring you in first, and then I'll go to Kwame Jantua on that. And before I bring you, Ernest, in, I wanted to listen to that, one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. This is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Just a little over 66 years ago, when he was so proud of the Ghanaian and what we can achieve when we take on the rest of the world.
We agreed on terms.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that, after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
Ernest, was Nkrumah right or wrong?
Evans, I think Nkrumah is right. We are capable of managing our own affairs. But the state we find ourselves now has not given credence to Nkrumah's belief because of how we have managed our affairs since independence. If we had taken Nkrumah seriously and seen that, okay, these are the resources we have as a nation, this is where we want to go, this is the plan, we work with it irrespective of which government is in power or which government is not in power, and we keep on with the vision, we would have gotten somewhere. Countries like Malaysia, Singapore, and some of the East Asian tigers have followed a path of industrialization since like independence from their time. They were also colonized, but they had a plan, they had a national vision, a national agenda. So the question is, what is Ghana doing? Are we following a conscious path of progress, or we are just going through an 8-year cycle of manifestos that doesn't seem to solve the perennial issues that is confronting the nation? So we need to have a national conversation, look at our problems objectively, and ask ourselves, what are the resources available to us? What are the challenges we confront? Then how do we overcome these challenges with the resources that is at our disposal? We are a blessed country. We have a good human resource. We have some of the brightest young workforce in Africa, and we can rise above the challenge. But if our leadership will not look at the situation and put the resources where they ought to, but rather engage in other flagship projects which do not really solve the problem of this nation, then we'll just come and complain and everything will keep happening. We need to have a conscious national plan that seeks to address the fundamental problem of this country.
Just one last challenge to you, and Kwame will come in. We need to have a national conscious plan. Listen, I've heard that for as long as I've been alive, and I'm pretty sure those who've been alive older than me have also heard it too. 66 years on, this is where we are. Almost every 5 years, go to the IMF. If you look at Nkrumah's declaration there in the context of the reality of today, have we proved him right or have we proved him wrong? Hello, Ernest.
Sorry, Evans, is that question to me?
Yeah, to you. Very briefly. If you look at the context and the reality of today, have we proved him right or proved him wrong?
we have, if Nkrumah was alive, he would have been disappointed in our performance today. But I don't think all hope is lost. I'm a young Ghanaian who believes that there's really hope for the future. Once we get leadership right, there's a good hope for us as a country.
Kwame, that to you are the Nkrumah is in this conversation. Nkrumah makes the bold declaration: the black African, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. Clearly, IMF is knocking at our door again. The Germans are dictating to us what we should do and what we shouldn't do, and what they give us, what they won't give us, etc. I mean, 66 years on, we are still begging and begging and begging. Isn't that the obvious evidence that we simply aren't capable?
Is it the obvious evidence? Where did Nkrumah himself start from? He started with a development plan. And by the time Nkrumah was overthrown, what didn't we have in this country? What couldn't we do in this country? And so you'd have thought those who overthrew him would take over and probably, even with the factories, continue with the factories. Which of the factories are standing today? The last ones that are standing, the textile factories, where are they today? Where are they today? And what have we been able to replace with what we lost? So I'll give an example. The NDC government came in and did a 40-year national development plan. The NDC government came in and did a constitutional review committee. The 40-year national development plan is about 994. The constitutional review is about 994 pages. Equally, the long-term development plan that was done by the NDC is around those number of pages. And everything that is in this country in terms of the natural resource, the interviewing of people, how we should put a national development plan together was done. This development plan was handed over to President Akufo-Addo 2017. Where is it? Where is it? Because, Evans, the manifestos have not helped us. When parties come into power, they throw the manifestos away. They don't even refer to the manifestos anymore. Look at this Fourth Republic. Take what has happened in this Fourth Republic and take what happened in Nkrumah's First Republic. Put the two together and see which of the two was better. Look, the natural resource we have in our human beings here, that's the most important natural resource we have. How have we been able to change the mindset of the people? Everybody is begging.
But you asked the question, how? I mean, the answer is obvious. We haven't been able to change the mindset. That's failure.
Why?
But yeah,
why? It's a leadership.
But you ask why. Some may answer that question and say because we're simply not capable.
We're capable.
I don't think it's about capability.
Yeah, Kwame, hold that thought for a second. Let me just want to hear from George, and I'll come back to you, Kwame. George, yes.
Now, we are capable. It's just that the people that are supposed to start it are the ones that are not doing it. Because, again, it starts from the head and it trickles down. So since the leadership has not been gotten right, we cannot get it right. Until that leadership situation is addressed, trust me, everything we do is just seriously just it's just for aesthetics.
Kwame.
And, I want to say something about Ernest.
Please go on.
Ernest, the situation is this. We need to stop relying on manifestos like Kwame just said and start turning the development plans into laws that any government that comes cannot override.
But you think if we could, we would have done it by now? Do you think they don't know?
No. It's just that every party has some political equity that they don't want to relinquish. Because if they follow that system of laying it as a law, that if I am building the houses in Salanubu or wherever it is, and you come, you cannot say you are not going to finish it, but rather it's mandatory that you finish it before we go for another loan to come and do something else. This nonsense will stop. But because every government wants to borrow their own borrowing and the greed squander their own squandering, that is why we cannot finish projects, and we have so many white elephant projects scattered over Ghana without it being finished. And we keep borrowing to start new ones while the old ones are not done.
Yeah, I mean, George, let me bring back Kwame. George is just making the point. Those who answered that Nkrumah question in the negative is making it stronger. Both of you, George and Kwame, you both complain about what happened after Nkrumah. All is about things we haven't done, how we have failed. Isn't that just buttressing the point that Nkrumah possibly after 66 years, we've just shown that we just can't do it?
Oh, but why was Nkrumah able to do it?
Was he able to do it?
Why was Nkrumah able to build all those factories? Why was Nkrumah able to get independence for a lot of African countries? You know, the challenge we have in Ghana today is lack of leadership and the partisanship. We've got to be able to stop that. We've got to be able to say, hey, Mr. Ex-President, come, let's sit, let's talk. Mr. So here, come, let's sit, let's talk, and put the partisanship aside. You know, once we finish elections, it's building the nation that matters, not building a political party. And you see in this country, we tend to build political parties above building the nation. So if you're not part of us, you're not in the game. Well, how can you rule a country that way? How? Because everybody can contribute to the building of the nation. Do they allow everybody to be part and parcel of it? Look, yesterday in Parliament, one fisticuffs nearly thrown over this EC bill.
Yeah.
One fisticuffs nearly thrown. What does that tell you? We don't trust each other. And anybody who brings anything to Parliament, there's an ulterior motive. Why? Couldn't parliamentarians sit down and iron out these things?
But Kwame, in fact, all of you have said it, in fact, but possibly the exception of Prof. Yourself, George, and Ernest, all of you say we are pointing the finger at, our leaders, our parliamentarians, but they are a product of this environment. They are like me and you before they became politicians. So while we go and we elect them from amongst us. So why are we pointing at them and forgetting that they are three more fingers pointing back at us?
But Evans, remember, just a minute, let me finish. Evans, remember, we have put them there, and if we put them there, they should be able to change their mindset and do what the people are looking for.
But how do you expect them to do that when the rest of society hasn't done that?
Evans, can I come in on that point?
Okay, just a second. Let Kwame wrap up on this point, and you can come in. I can hear from Prof.
Say that again, Evans. Why what?
I'm saying you expect them to change their mindset once you appoint them. Suddenly, but they are still part of this environment. They are. How can they?
The fact that they are still part of the environment doesn't mean that they cannot look at the entire spectrum of what's happening in the country and say to themselves, this is not right. Let's try and change it as leaders. As leaders. When you go to a classroom and a teacher gets into the classroom and she sees some of the pupils misbehaving, they might be break people in the children in the class. She say, I'm not going to allow this to happen. Are leaders doing that with us? I don't think they are.
Okay, Kwame, stay with me. Let me bring in George. George, you said you had something to say to that question.
No, it was Prof.
Oh, Prof. Yes, Prof. Go on.
Yes, I do. So in all of these cases, what we're doing is we are mixing up the cause with the effect, or we're rather looking at the effect of something and then thinking that that effect is the cause. So if we have poor leaders, we're not getting into the question of why do we have poor leaders, who benefits from us having poor leaders, and then we'll get into the reason why those poor leaders are there in the first place. And again, the point I made in the chat is that these leaders don't come from Mars. They come directly from the followers who have the exact same created tastes, desires, and values implanted in them for the benefit of the people who put those created tastes, desires, and values into them in the first place. So if I go to the leader and I ask the leader, do you want to travel to Dubai? They will say yes. And then I go to the follower, and then the follower will also say yes. The only difference is one of opportunity. If I go to a leader and say, would you like a Lexus SUV? They say yes. I go to the follower and say, do you want a Lexus SUV? They also say yes. Again, the only difference is opportunity. All of them have the same tastes and desires. For who planted those tastes and desires into them in the first place?
Why don't we create our own? Why don't you create our own fight? Why don't you create our own nexus?
This is the point that this is the exact point that I'm driving at. The point is that if we actually had an educational system, we would implement what I refer to as functional hatred. Functional hatred. We are not taught to hate our enemies, we're taught to love our enemies. Now, what do I mean? I don't mean you're foaming at the mouth, you want to beat people up. I'm looking at China versus Japan. So some people may know of the Nanking, or what's also known as the Nanjing massacre, where Japan came in, raped the women, killed the men, split babies open with swords and so forth and so on. But now later on, when Japan is the first of the Asian tigers to come out with Sony and all these, major products, China could have said, oh, we want to support Japan. But what did they do? They implemented what I call functional hatred, which means I hate your thing. I don't want to support your thing. I don't want to buy your thing. I want my own. So rather than going to support the Japanese, they have a memory of who their enemies are. And they said, rather than going to buy Japanese stuff, we want to create our own things internally. And now we see what China has done with that functional hatred type of policy. I did a talk on this same topic where I looked at the heads of state of 3 countries. Now, what do? If you look at the head of state of Japan, they drive a Toyota. If you look at the head of state of the US, they drive a Cadillac. If you look at Germany, they drive Mercedes-Benz. If you look at the head of state of the UK, they drive, Rolls-Royce. If you go to Italy, it's a Lancia Thesis. If you go to France, it's Citroën and Peugeot. If you go to Korea, it's a Hyundai Equus. If you go to any country, that's because they say, I don't care what is the best, I care what is mine. I hate everything else functionally. I only want what's mine. But when we come here, we say we want what's nice. We want what they have. So rather than us getting what is our own and say, let's have a motorcade of Kantanka, and then let's say Kantanka, every year you have to produce another part indigenously, and we're going to set up 3D printing so you can do that. We're going to say we want Toyotas. So now if I have a Land Cruiser, that means we have the same tastes. We have the same desires. Both leaders and followers have the exact same tastes, desires, and values implanted in them. I remember when Pizza Hut opened up, there was a line all the way across the Accra Mall parking lot so that they could get a taste and desire that was implanted into them. So until you stop confusing the effect with the actual cause, you will come to say, what caused us to have leaders who want all the same things that are destroying them? What makes them want to have a vacation in the U.S.? This is no slight to, I think George is in the U.S. right now. Or all of them want the same things. But until we come to that, and again, we have to operate on the basis of race first. So even though Nana Kwame Nkrumah said the black man is capable of managing his own affairs, he didn't operate on a black first or race first agenda. He dealt with whoever's on the continent, which is why he married who he married, an Arab out of, Egypt. He's talking about black, people managing their own affairs. But if you look at the All African People's Conference, they're inviting everyone who is on the continent, whether it's Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, all these places where they're enslaving black people to this very day, as opposed to saying, let's have Haiti come as an official delegate. No, you're inviting even the Dutch Boers in South Africa are being
I mean,
so
and Prof, you really drill down to some of the aspects of this that really to take a long time to drill down. And it's far more than just getting it right. The nuanced issues that you've touched on. I want to end by asking a simple question, and then I want all of you to look into the crystal ball and do it in 30 seconds for me, if you may. Kwame first. So in this conversation, many of you have tried to diagnose a problem why we continue begging and we're begging. I need to ask you, we are going through this cycle. This is possibly the worst we've seen in the long history of begging. Definitely, sometime, and nobody knows when, we'll come out of this crisis. Are you confident that we will stop begging at some point? And remember that, let's put it in this context. We have a president who came in, championed Ghana Beyond Aid, stood toe-to-toe with Macron, and dished out to Macron, and he became an international celebrity for telling Macron to the face that, yeah, listen, we want to eat what we grow what we eat, want to be self-reliant, of course, but the evidence is there. The jury is now out. So the question, are we going to continue begging in perpetuity, or you think there's a point where Ghana and the rest of the continent stop begging and become self-reliant and independent? Kwame?
Evans, at this point, I think it's up to the people of Ghana to make sure that the leaders that we're going to put in power will do what the people want. Every Ghanaian today, and I think every African today, is much, much, much more advanced in mind than Kwame Nkrumah's time. And I believe they would push governments to do what they want them to do. I do agree with Ernest that there is still hope. It isn't all zero, nothing can happen. I think there's still hope, but it's also up to the people of this country to make sure that the leaders that we put in do what we want them to do on behalf.
Okay, so you're confident that the time will come that we'll stop begging. Georgia, you confident that you share that confidence? Okay, don't have George.
No.
You share that
I'm
confidence?
still here.
Yeah, briefly.
Yes, I do share that confidence, but it is going to take all of us digging deep and understanding the fact that we have the power, they don't have the power. And the question that you asked Kwame at the other time, that they are a product of the same environment. Evans, they stood and they showed us something. That is why they got elected. It's not like we went and picked them and just say, come and be our. They showed us that their thought process was slightly different and things like that. But once they get elected, they revert back to who they truly are. So me personally, I think the Ghanaian populace should vet very well who comes to stand in front of them and ask them for that mandate to make sure that they are sending people in there that are not wolves dressed in sheep clothing. That is going to be the first step to we being able to get out of this perpetual begging. If the mindset does not change, then this is like we going in circles trying to get to a destination that we don't know where it is. So yes, I have hope, but that hope starts from within us, making sure that we individually change our mindset. If I can change one person's mindset, and Evans, you can change one change one, sooner or later, the consciousness is going to catch on, and we can start understanding that Kantanka is as good as Lexus, like Prof said.
Okay. I like your optimism, all of you. Prof, thank you very much. Ernest, thank you very much as well. All of you who connected, thank you very much. Many of you are joining us on many social media platforms. Let me quickly share a few before I wrap up here. This one says the reason why Ghana and Africa are at these levels is that we are not conscious and of what we do from leadership to the citizens. Our leaders are the biggest problem. If one person can convince several people to bring positive and negative change, for example, from President Rawlings, that should be the quality leaders that we need, he says. And there's view here from Guy Fox, who sent us this one, and Guy says, a simple case, what we must understand when we seek to compare ourselves to countries like Malaysia, Singapore, etc., is that those nations have a sense of self. In Ghana, however, we have no sense of self, hence we are where we are and they are where they are. Guy says that one. Albert says Nkrumah had his plans of industrialization. Those who overthrew him abandoned all his plans. Even the pictures were banned. They honored the coup maker by naming the gateway to Ghana after him, he says. And the final one, before we go, this is a big shame. And what is Nana doing? What has come over him? Now we go to Chinese. The Galamsey war is lost. Truth be told, leadership is the biggest problem, he says. Those are your thoughts. More of these conversations as we approach 66 years. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Live on radio, live online. This is The Locker Room with George Addo Jr.
Hello, the weekend is here and so is the locker room. Here on the locker room, we preview all of the weekend's action, and there are top liners for you this weekend all across. The MTN FA Cup takes center stage locally. League leaders Ediana FC, host Kotoko at Doma, while Dreams FC and Liberty Professionals face off as part of this weekend's local top liners. Meanwhile, in England,
There's Rashford and in by Fred at the far post. They scored again at the Stretford end. Eric Ten Hag leads United to a major final at the first time of asking. It's going to be United Newcastle at Wembley on February the 26th.
Yes, that's right, because after their Europa League heroics over Barcelona, Erik ten Hag's magical Manchester United take on Newcastle in the Carabao League Cup final. This will be a first cup final for the Red Devils since 2017, the year they last lifted any form of silverware. Newcastle will look to extend that barren run for the Red Devils as they also make a cup final return after almost 5 decades. 1976 was the last time they played in one. Where was I then? 1976? I can't remember. Was I even around by then? Nope. So definitely Newcastle are a club reborn under new ownership from the Middle East, Qatar, wherever you might want to call it. So we'll look up and ahead into the game. But also here for you on the locker room is one very special conversation.
Speaking of world records, Duplantis, is it on? Oh, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. How could we finish any other way than with a world record from the greatest pole vaulter our sport has ever seen? You could not script that any better.
Usain Bolt though getting into his running. Here he comes. Usain Bolt.
9.58, smashing the world record. Unbelievable. He's done it again. That is the most incredible piece of sprinting the world has ever seen. Absolutely breathtaking. He didn't just break his world record, he absolutely shattered it. Is there anything this man is not capable of? Every single person who is able in this arena is on their feet. Gold, silver and bronze to the United States. Fred Curley achieves a lifelong dream. She's bidding for a 5th world title and she's going to do it. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price from Elaine Thompson-Herah, 5 world titles. It's Jackson's turn to be the queen of sprinting. 21.46. She becomes the fastest living woman on earth. He was tamed in Tokyo, but with the heart of an American lion, Lyles has roared back to the top.
The best, the absolute best of the World Athletics Championships. And we are just some 6 months away. So we head logged into athletics. Ghana had 7 athletes at the 2022 World Athletics Championships held in Oregon, and as previously mentioned, Budapest 2023 is about 6 months away. So the question, how many athletes will represent Ghana this year? Ghana Athletics CEO Bao Fuseni says he's expecting more medals from our athletes this year, but there's only one way that's possible. For more medals, we need more athletes in Budapest. Already we have 2. Long jumper Deborah Aqua and the 4x100 meter relay team have secured their spots. But with new qualification, criteria and methods or even rules for this year's World Athletics Championships, it leaves some of our top performing athletes from this current ongoing season at risk, or let's say in some jeopardy.
We used to use our colleges' distances and times to qualify for the World Championship and the Olympics. But now you have to go to a certain amount of meet, or your country have to organize a satisfied competition for you to qualify for the World Championship. So it won't be that easy. So like even if I jump like 650, 660, I cannot go unless I go to a certified competition organized by the school, or sexist relay. I think they have some certain competition in America that you can use to qualify. Other than that, our small meet like that, you cannot use it to qualify anymore.
100-meter hurdler, long jumper and triple jumper Jacqueline Pokua, who only 3 days ago broke a 30-year-old long jump school record at the University of Louisiana Lafayette, and also holds 3 other records from the Cloud County Community College and also University of Akron, could miss out on Budapest 2023 if she's unable to make it to this year's top meets. We'll bring in the Joy Sports exclusive with the student athletes. She spoke to me after her record-breaking leap at the Sunbelt Conference only 3 days ago. It will be your first bite on tonight's locker room, where we also have for you.
So Perez let Verstappen by. Verstappen 1.1 behind.
This is incredible! Max Verstappen has taken the checkered flag to win the Japanese Grand Prix. A 32nd career win then for Max Verstappen. Same as Fernando Alonso. A 2nd world title for Max Verstappen. He is champion of the world in 2022.
The Bahrain GP is on. Well, almost. The 20 drivers and 10 teams currently tighten up their cars ahead of the season's lights out in Western Asia. Max Verstappen, the 2022 champion, top time sheets of the first test by 0.029 seconds, quicker than Fernando Alonso, while Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc came in 3rd and 4th. And who led the timesheets on day 2 of testing? We'll let you know who when Raymond Yamada joins us on the locker room. So it's a packed 60 minutes of sports across board. So you do stick and stay. I am Michelle Kwete Kweno. If you'd like to send us a message, we'd love to read it. 055 1111 997. It's the locker room. Stick and stay. Well then, let's get into our first dose, and it's athletics. If you guess it, yes, you guess it right. I saw with 100-meter hurdler, long jumper and triple jumper Jacqueline Pokua, who only 3 days ago broke a 30-year-old long jump record at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. And guess what? She didn't even know till long minutes after the race when she and her team were about to check out to the meet center. But besides that records she has at the University of Louisiana, she also holds other records from the Crown County Community School and the University of Akron. So Pokua is another top athlete here in Ghana with a lot of potential, who absolutely Ghana needs to hold on to as we head into Budapest 2023 and next year's Olympic Games. But guess what again? She's considering abandoning athletics. If you want to know why, you should stick on, because she spoke to me after pulling down an earlier record set in 1991. Do enjoy is the locker room.
Right. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great by the grace of God.
And I can see the wall of honor behind you. You're flexing on us, aren't you?
Oh no, I have them in my room, like since I got to Lafayette. So it's not that I'm flexing on anyone. I have like all over my room, so it's not.
Right. Okay, but can you just start, just before we start everything off, like more officially, can you just take us through the medals? What representing and when was it won and all of that? The ones directly.
So you want me to bring all of them here? Oh my.
No, okay. Just the three behind you. Just the three behind you.
The three. Okay, so I have I think Mark Indoor 2021 Mark Indoor gold medal. Mark Indoor long jump medal. That's 2021, and 2021 Mark Indoor triple jump medal. And I have the Mark Outdoor 2021 Mark Outdoor triple jump bronze. And I don't remember the silver unless I check, but it's fine. And I have the Sunbelt indoor, which is 2 days ago, and bronze medals as well. And that one was last year athlete of the week when I broke the school record. And I got my all American for junior college. That's the NJCAA of 2019.
All right, that's pretty impressive for someone who traveled to the US. Let's say, was it in 2018?
Yeah.
All right, great. So let's just get back a bit before we look at what you did just recently. How has been this entire period? 3 schools in 5 years, and in every school you obtained an academic qualification, as well as doing a lot of impressive stuff in track and field. How has it been so far?
So first of all, I like to thank my my coach, Mickey. He is such a wonderful person, and he made me who I am today. Although we're fighting, but it's fine. And my OG, I call him my pops, Wisdom Low. I think you guys have heard about him going about giving our athlete like running shoes. And my church, mom and dad, Apostle Asina Mwakon from Hope Living Temple, for supporting me all this while. My mom, my twin sister, and every person that I've come in contact with in my journey of athletics. I really appreciate everyone, and I want to say thank you. I was in UCC in 2017, and 2018 we had one guy coming to Clark County. That was the spring 2018, which is January, and he recommended me to the coaches, and they talked to Coach Mickey, and they had like, oh, okay, I think we can make it come. So in 2018, after our Visa Games, which I was holding the 100 meters record, then I came here in August 2018, and that's where my journey started. So I was in Clark County Community College, Concordia, Kansas. And yeah, it was awesome. I had the indoor long jump record. I have the outdoor long jump record, and I was having the outdoor 100 meters record by someone. But anyways, but I still got the indoor and outdoor long jump record.
That's pretty impressive, and yeah, I mean, looking at where we currently find ourselves, the space we currently find ourselves in, getting very close to the World Athletics Championships and also next year's Olympic Games, it's pretty impressive what you're doing and encouraging for Ghana in terms of getting a medal. We'll get to that in that aspect very soon. But one thing stands out for me: you do 100-meter hurdle, you do long jump, and you also do what's the last one?
Okay, so the triple jump. It's just the triple jump is just by the way. It's not really my thing that I like to do, but I always do.
It's like a side hustle, eh?
Oh yeah, it's a side hustle. So, but they don't see me like that. They think that I'm good at it, but I don't. anyways, it's just by the way. So yeah, I do like mostly, I love doing the hurdles and the long jump anyways. It's fine.
But how is it like combining the 100-meter hurdle and the long jump? Because it's in the long jump where you recently, set the new school record. So how do you combine it?
Okay, so after junior college, this is it. After junior college, I transferred to University of Akron in Ohio. So that's where, so in Cloud, I did my associate degree in psychology. Then I went to University of Akron to do my bachelor's degree in psychology too. But the coach there recruited me as a long jumper, not a hurdler. But the wife is a hurdles coach. So I kind of, since I do both, I have to kind of do, because we want to win the championship. So basically the coaches normally like athletes who does 2 or more events.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right. And you're finding, is it grace in both fields?
Yeah, I can say that. But it will not be smooth every year, like every season and stuff. So kind of fight through it and it's happened. But unfortunately for me, Akron, I don't have the long jump record. I have the triple jump indoor and outdoor record. Yeah, you can believe it. Yeah, just take that.
You have the indoor and outdoor record for as an event you call your side hustle. That's more than
I don't know. I can't say much, but yeah, it's just part of it. It's funny how I was able to do that, but it's fine. That's where they saw like, you triple. I know I'm not a triple jump, but it's fun when you are doing like the event. It's fun, like you got the support from the teammates, your family, most especially my twin sister. My mom is not on social media, so she always updates my twin sister about.
Oh yeah, twin.
Oh yeah. So where did I get that? Oh, you thought it was just oh my God. Are you sleepwalking again?
Let's not bring that on here. So, but let's zoom in on Louisiana. Breaking the 30-year-old school record. When you were heading into this particular meet, were you aware of it, that this school had a 30-year-old record? And was it your intention to go in and break it?
No. So I didn't know I've broken the school record. I was just going to do my normal thing, like qualify for finals in the hurdles, try and win the long jump for my team so we can win the championship. And so the indoor is a little bit different from the outdoor, because the indoor use much energy to jump because there's no wind to support you. So I've been kind of striving through the long jump indoor a little bit. So when I had the PR, I like, okay, I think I've already like broke down the huge barrier that I want to, but it's fine. So when we got to the bus that we were going back to the hotel, that's when my coach said, I have broken the school. Initially, he said the 1993, which is the outdoor record. And it's later that I went back and checked and it was like 91. I'm like, okay, that's huge. So yeah, I wasn't thinking about record. Normally, I don't think about school record. I only think about my performances, what I will do there and what the outcome that I'll get from what I'm doing.
So actually, me and immediately after the race, didn't even know you had done something like that.
No, I was just happy about my PR. I call my dad and I call my coach, who normally I train with when we go to somewhere, like, hey, I jumped 6:24. I got a huge PR. Like, we were all happy about it. And it was later I told them that I broke the school record and they were like happy about it. So yeah, I didn't even know.
Wow. And so at that, obviously you were excited, but at that point where your coach revealed to you what you had just done, can you like recount the first emotions? Was it surprise? Was it like, oh my God, I can't breathe, or that sort of stuff?
Oh no, it's just I was just happy. Basically, breaking record is sometimes, it's normal, but it's later that I realized it was 91. That was like a 32-year-old record. I'm like, oh, okay, I think I did something great this time around. It's like the other one were like maybe 2018, maybe like 5 years, maybe like 10 years record. But this one is like huge, you know. And yeah, I started sending my coaches messages and thanking them like, hey, you guys made me who I am today. And I am still learning about like everything that you guys are teaching me. So I'm grateful. You know, it's just, I couldn't sleep though. So before the triple jump, that I couldn't sleep. I was awake by 1:30 a.m. in the morning. I was struggling to sleep around like 4 or 5 a.m. Something like, I think I'm overjoyed and overwhelmed about that. That record or something.
At that point, you responded to my messages, I guess.
Oh, that was not, we were not about, you know, your messages was when we came back to Lafayette.
Oh, okay. All right. And you know, for that long jump record, the national record is held by Deborah Aqua.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the big boss.
Yeah, yeah. You can say that. But so, is this some? You already spoke about the fact that you don't go into events looking to break records. You're just looking to improve on your personal best and all of that. But definitely, there's this hidden desire to hold claims to something like a national record. It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. Me, okay, so one thing, I don't see myself as a long range runner. I just normally do it for fun. Basically, if I want to break the record, I want to break the hurdles record. Guys, it has been there for a while though. So
yeah. So I guess if you're supposed to go fully pro and then you had to choose, which of those events are you going to pick? I
want hurdles, but my coach said he will allow for me to go the long and triple. But I would love to do the hurdles though. But hey, I'm going for my retirement card anyway. So this is my last year. Oh, I'm going for my retirement card. I have to retire. I'm tired.
we are counting on you for some good stuff in the World Athletics Championships and Olympics. So you have to slow down just a bit. But so you know the Athletics Championships in August this year.
They postponed it.
Pardon?
They postponed it. It won't come off.
It's not going to come off again?
No.
Wow, that is new to me.
That's the African Championship that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know the African Championship. I'm talking about the World Athletics Championship. Budapest. Budapest.
The World Athletics. Hey, I don't know about that. You have to jump. Okay, so first we used to use our colleges distances and times to qualify for the World Championship and the Olympics. But now you have to go to a certain amount of meet, or your country have to organize a certified competition for you to qualify for the World Championship.
Yeah.
So it won't be that easy. So like even if I jump like 650, 660, I cannot go unless I go to a certified competition organized by the school or Texas Relay. I think they have some certain competition in America that you can use to qualify. Other than that, our small meet like that, you cannot use it to qualify anymore.
Yeah, but you have intentions of being there, don't you?
Intentions? Nah, I'm thinking about my academics right now.
Yeah, you're thinking of what?
My academics right now.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, yeah. And I can see, I mean, I saw what you put out there, that first degree, the associate degree, then the undergrad degree, and now you have about 3 degrees at the moment.
I'm doing my master's now. I'm thinking of doing my PhD after that. So, yeah.
Okay.
You have a long way to go.
So, maybe there are no intentions of going full pro with athletics.
Maybe yes, maybe no, because you have to have a sponsor. Now the school is sponsoring me, so I can basically do much train with the team and stuff. But when you are done, like mostly this year, when you are done with the eligibility, no help is coming. But you can still train with the team. But if they are going to a competition, the team cannot take you with them because it's against the NCAA rules. So you have to pay for your meet. You have to pay for your hotels. You have to pay for everything. So if you have a car, you have to drive to yourself to the meet. So that will be hard. But I guess someone who can do it. No, not right now.
I guess, yeah. I'll just get to that point about sponsorship and all of that. And I mean, with the tangent and with your track record at the moment, it shows that you have something in there, and hopefully we get some people in to support not just you but also the other group of athletes out there, Ghanaian athletes who are doing really impressive.
Everyone is doing well, and I appreciate. We got some good athletes coming up. We got Grace Abo, Latifa Ali, Halutieho, Gifty Oku. We got a guy at Central Arizona, Razak, and I think Patience. And you got so much guys in the different institutions, and they are doing so much well. And like, I'm proud of them. Like Ghana, we will be in our best position this year, next year, if like we continue doing what we are doing this year. And I'm proud of everyone.
Yeah, and the sports fraternity and the circles are also proud of you guys and what you're doing. Continue being great.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
So just gone by was the Joy Sports sit down with Jacqueline Pokia, and besides all her achievements on track and field, she's a straight A student. And if you don't believe it, let me give you some proof. She's an associate degree holder in psychology as well as a bachelor's degree holder in psychology, and she's currently doing her master's degree at the University of Louisiana. So there you have it. We'll be following closely her progress. And, in the last 5 years, from 3 institutions, she holds a record from each institution she's been in. And being a student athlete, we think, that's obviously impressive. So you're going to see how that story goes. And follow closely to bring you updates as the World Athletics Championship gets closer. But for now, it's time for some Formula One.
So Perez let Verstappen by. Verstappen 1.1 behind.
This is incredible! Max Verstappen has taken the checkered flag to win the Japanese Grand Prix. A 32nd career win then for Max Verstappen. Same as Fernando Alonso. A second world title for Max Verstappen. He is champion of the world in 2022.
Well, yeah, let's head into the Formula One now on the traditional season precursor of testing, which ushers in every new season is on again. And whilst Max Verstappen topped the timesheets yesterday, today produced a new name. Joining me via the phone line for analysis is Formula One expert Roman Yamado. Hello, Roman, and thanks for your time.
Good evening to you, and good evening to all your listeners out there.
Yeah, it's great having you. So let's get into it right then, shall we? Because today, Carlos Sainz topped the timesheets after this morning's rounds of testing. But that isn't the exact thing I want us to focus on at the moment. Because yesterday, although Verstappen topped, Ferrari were also in the mix. Verstappen's time of 1 minute 32 seconds was, just ahead of Fernando Alonso and also Carlos Sainz. But today, Carlos Sainz finished with almost 4 tenths a second quicker than Verstappen's opening day mark. And all this early testing, definitely Sainz will lie off the fact that he's already challenging the top grids, the top time speeds in the grid, wouldn't he?
Well, I think that a lot of that, a lot of the time speed really doesn't come to much when it comes to testing. And there's always the saying that we always do the time sheet to the wolves, or we actually render the time sheet, especially after testing like this. Because normally, what happens during testing is you are trying to few parts of the car. You are trying to clock as much time as possible, just to be able to make sure that power unit is fine. and you're trying to assess your reliability. And so for the first 2 days of testing, normally it's about what can the engine do? Can I get my unit right? And normally during testing, a lot of drivers and a lot of teams run different programs. So some teams could be setting out for pace, some teams could be looking at some of their aerodynamic functionalities and all. And so normally, if you even look at how the races start, you have a lot of cars, aero rig, and then you have the glow flow base paint on it. And then you always have, the cars trying as much as possible to, just stay on the circuit for most laps. That's how it normally happens. And so, when you look at it, and you talk about who actually lead the pace stage, and it's quite interesting because you know very well that when the season starts proper, Romeo will be in the top 10. Romeo will not even be the top 5. But during testing, because they have done about 1-3 laps all day today, you could always say making the fastest time or being the fastest time circuit means a lot. But we studied over the years to actually be able to tell that, look, what happens during preseason, what happens during testing, it's not always a true reflection of what happens. This is what we call the tarmac pound. This is the true tarmac pounding to see what starts to come up with. So I think that for all the data you've spoken about, all the time you've spoken about, I think that it comes to nothing when it comes to the race itself. When we stay next week for the next year, I think early March for the race proper. So I think for tomorrow we might see a lot of cars set out for pace. I think normally the third day of testing, the drivers, the teams actually go for the pure pace. That's when they chase it.
Okay, yeah. So and that leads me into Red Bull, the camp of Red Bull, because yesterday Verstappen was on the grid for the entire time. It was only Carlos Sainz, not Carlos Sainz actually. It was only Sergio Perez, Verstappen's teammate, who didn't make the grid yesterday because Red Bull decided to leave out Verstappen. What do you make of that decision? Is it funny in any way, or you think it's part of a grand or a bigger tactic of Red Bull to get Sergio Perez firing this season, because he's a little bit underwhelming last season?
So what actually happened yesterday was that Red Bull did come in with a clear plan. So Max Verstappen to 1.5 days, and then Sergio Perez would do another 1.5. And it clearly tells you the confidence they have in their drive. It clearly tells you that, look, Sergio Perez can actually try that and actually have that car being set for pace, and Max Verstappen would have absolutely no problem with the car. It clearly tells you that what Red Bull want to do is that they want both drivers to have a feel of the car in every sense of it. So if you realize today, Sergio Perez was using a prototype. Tomorrow, he'll be in the car that Max Verstappen was driving. And it clearly tells you that they know exactly what they are doing. If you look at that national circuit, it has a lot of long space. And Max Verstappen would have assessed the car and known that it's actually very well set up for pace. And so you give it to a driver who is also a very fantastic driver. And so I think it just tells you the confidence Red Bull, when it comes to drivers, they can afford to have one driver sit out, check the car, and actually tell you that's a good car. Have the other driver come, test the car, and actually see how it comes to pace. So I think that it's just a statement from Red Bull that, look, I don't think that we are going to finish until the course of the season. And already, if you look at the pace Max Verstappen showed yesterday, it's preseason, it's testing, yes, but it clearly tells you they will continue from where they left off.
Yeah, and that brings me to Mercedes. With what happened last season, which was a very terrible 2022 season for them, they couldn't. It was just at the latter part where they started to get grip into the season and all of that. There are so many eyeballs on them, especially as Lewis Hamilton is looking for that 8th world title, and also with their prodigy George Russell in their mix. He had a very good season last year, despite they already retold stories about Mercedes suffering and all of that. What have you made of them this season? Their chassis and their car, their livery. How impressive is it looking?
Well, that all-black Mercedes W14 Challenger looks really good. I mean, if you look at how that library was built, beautiful event, beautiful car. But I think that for Mercedes, one of the key problems they had is the bouncing of the car. That porpoising.
Yeah, the porpoising, yeah.
And
Raymond, please hold on. Can you just like reposition yourself a bit? I'm just noticing there's lots of breakages in the line.
Okay, fair enough. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think this is way better.
Much better. Okay, fair. So I was saying that Mercedes had a major problem of porpoising last season. So that continuous bouncing of the car made it very difficult for drivers, despite the fact that George Russell was able to make the most of it. This season, Mercedes have been able to solve that problem. And so I listened to Toto Wolff actually pass commentary on the car. He said the bouncing has stopped. They've been able to deal with the bouncing. Now, having dealt with the bouncing, which was their Achilles heel last season, you can only expect Mercedes to bounce back stronger this season. And so I think that for most of what we've seen them do on the circuit, I can say we are seeing Mercedes not focusing on pace, Mercedes not focusing too much on, trying to catch up with Ferrari or trying to catch up with Red Bull, but just trying to set up in such a way that their reliability issues are good. They have a lot of mileage on the power units before they even think of, how fast the car can go. Because without doubt, Mercedes will not be the quickest car on the circuit this season. But They do know how to get their car to perform in such a way that it will be efficient when it comes to managing races and when it comes to winning races. So I think that having dealt with that porpoising issue and having a much more stable car on the circuit this season, I think that you can only expect the best from Mercedes. You can only expect Lewis Hamilton to continue to show us what it's made of. I think that for both drivers, George Russell, for Lewis Hamilton, and even Mick Schumacher, who has just joined, their reserve driver, I think that we're going to see a very competitive Mercedes team this season. And I think that we've not seen them really show much in testing. Some you could put down to some, what you call sandbagging, where teams try to make their cars less efficient on the circuit, just to take pressure off them. They possibly don't want the hype. They don't want us to be talking about Mercedes being the quickest car, putting pressure on their drivers. And so maybe a bit of sandbagging in there. But Mercedes definitely would be competing this season much, much better than they did last.
I would like to see how that goes. I'm really glad that you sort of ended on the tangents of the individual drivers, because when you consider the speed and the engines of Ferrari and Red Bull, definitely for Mercedes, where they're going to want to win is those individual duels and those races and individual, speed times and races and all of that. But let's just wrap up a bit now with the midfield teams. From what you've seen so far in testing, which of them is looking promising? You already mentioned, was it Alpine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alpine,
So which of the teams are, looking a bit promising for you?
Well, I think that you look at a team like McLaren. McLaren do have quite a tricky lineup. So you have Oscar Piastri, who is joining the fold. Definitely would have to partner. One of the drivers that you would expect to have a lot of experience, Lando Norris. And if you look at them, already they are actually showing signs of having a good car on the circuit. So I think McLaren would be one of the teams you should be paying attention to. Then you also talk about the fact that Fernando Alonso and his Alpine team are looking good. You look at the fact that he himself, being a former world champion, will definitely come in there and try to make a case for himself. And so definitely you would want to look at Fernando Alonso and what he does with that Alpine chassis and talk about the fact that he can be forced to reckon with. Aston Martin, for me, also look decent, despite the fact that Lance Stroll hasn't been part of testing because he had a bike accident. He's been replaced by current Formula 2 champion Felipe Dragovic. He's in the mix. You could always expect that Aston Martin would also, make a good case for themselves in the course of the season. So I think that you're going to have a midfield that's going to be dealing with individual brilliance of some drivers because of their experience And you'd have teams like the Alpha Tories with rookies in their team also struggling. So in terms of the midfield, I don't see how the likes of Team Haas, Alpine, McLaren, I don't see them upsetting the teams at the top.
But for Haas, just to wrap up quickly for Haas, Nico Hülkenberg, someone who has done it before, confirmed he's done it before. He been in there. Wouldn't he want to push? Like, can't he push Haas a bit higher? They were very dreadful last season with rookie, drivers. Just to wrap up,
Haas would come up with Kevin Magnussen and Hülkenberg. I think that for both drivers, they have a team that has spent so much on the car. They have invested so much on that machine, but it's quite strange how the team just don't seem to get their orders right. They seem not to get their strategy right, get their drivers in that top half of the table. And that's why some of us are a bit skeptical about Haas, despite the fact that they have two very experienced drivers. I think that they may still struggle. I don't see them upsetting the top table. So we are possibly looking at Alfa Romeo, as always. We are talking about Aston Martin and McLaren. For me, these are the three teams that will be battling for the midfield. I think Team Haas, for all the money that has been invested, haven't really shown that brilliance. And so I could easily write them off. But I could be wrong, though.
All right, okay. And so I appreciate your time so much, Raymond. Next week by this time, we'll be gearing for Lights Out in Bahrain. So you'll be back on our Down 99.7. Are you happy with that?
Sure, definitely. Right. I think it promises to be an interesting season, and we are so looking forward to it. And Bahrain being a place for testing definitely would serve as a good tonic when the race proper starts. So we'll see how things go in the next few days.
Yeah, we have our fingers locked on that. Thank you so much, Raymond.
You're welcome.
Let's head over to the football now because there are, some entertaining fixtures coming up this weekend. Arsenal and Leicester face off, and for Arsenal fans and Ghanaian fans, obviously, Black Stars. Thomas Partey, unsure if he's going to feature against Leicester. Mikel Arteta indicates that he's not training a lot this week because he's now recovering from an injury. He's going to, decide if he's going to play this weekend based on training, results and training feedback, which happened today. So we're going to keep our tabs on that and see if Thomas Partey features this weekend. But Manchester City, they go away to Bournemouth. Chelsea, struggling Chelsea, are locked in. A London derby up against Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool, though I find some bit of form in the Premier League until that Real Madrid trouncing on Tuesday, they go away to Crystal Palace, who are struggling to score. And Vieira says that maybe his team are struggling and, suffering low on confidence. You're going to see how that goes ahead for them. But yeah, West Ham will take on Nottingham Forest. Fulham are going to play Wolves at 8 p.m. And Leeds United take on Mohamed Salisu and then Kamaldeen Suleiman and Southampton. Well, for those interested in La Liga, Barcelona, they will not be happy what happened during midweek, but they have business to settle in La Liga. They are currently on top of the table. So we'll be looking forward to see what they do. But Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid will be clashing tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. A very big one if Real Madrid want to close the gap to Barcelona, who are ahead with about 8 points. That's a very big gap. And in Serie A, Empoli and Napoli face off. Victor Osimhen will be looking to add to his 20-goal tally. The Nigerian is absolutely on fire. And definitely, he'll be looking to score more goals tomorrow. Juventus take on Torino at home. whilst Inter Milan face off with Bologna. But for this weekend, there's only one fixture which is going to steal all the headlines.
There's Rashford and in by Fred at the far post. They scored again at the Stretford end. Eric Ten Hag, Leeds United to a major final at the first time of asking. It's going to be United Newcastle at Wembley on February the 26th.
Yeah, so I was about to say two teams on opposite ends. Well, if you look at the form, they're not on opposite ends. The both teams doing very well in the Premier League at the moment. But also, yeah, again, if you look at the last time both teams played in the cup final, it's been quite some time. Manchester United, 2017 was the last time they played in the cup final. While Newcastle, their first time since 1997. That's a really long time. No, 1976 actually, a very long time. And both teams are going to look to end trophy droughts. More importantly, for those who are going to follow Manchester United fans. For me, we are going to get into the analysis. I have Nicholas Forson on the line. Nicholas, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Michelle. How are you doing too?
I'm great as well. Looking forward to this weekend. And in the studio with me is Abdul Wadood, who's going to speak on behalf of Manchester United fans. Abdul, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right. Okay, so let's get into the conversation right now. And I'm thinking, what would the game be won and lost if you look at the balance of this fixture? Nicholas, Newcastle have been doing really great stuff this season, and they seem to be the talk of the town. All the Manchester United that was showing some really great form.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at Newcastle this season. We all knew that when the money comes in, you know, they are going to blow up. But I think it's gone even better than they expected, because when you actually look at their squad, you have to give a lot of credit to Eddie Howe, because he hasn't signed as many players as you think that a club with the money Newcastle has will sign. But he's done exceptionally well. They've pitched well. They've signed players who are, you know, efficient and proficient in their positions. The first one who comes to mind is Bruno Guimaraes, of course. I mean, when you look at the current transfer market, to get such a player of such quality for under £45 million, I mean, that's an absolute steal.
Incredible
He
business.
was actually brought in the middle of the season, and he's been the linchpin. He's reinvented, you know, players who were underperforming under previous managers and playing so well in different positions and playing so well this season. When you look at the likes of Joe Linton, you look at Kieran Trippier, who's rolled back the time. But yeah, speaking of the positional changes I was talking about, Joe Linton has been, I mean, absolutely brilliant. Probably he's been, if you're going to rank the top 5 box-to-box midfielders in the Premier League this season, you're definitely going to rank, you know, Joe Linton in there. He came in as an aspiring striker from the Bundesliga. Obviously, you know, the previous manager Steve Bruce couldn't get the best out of him. But Eddie Howe has been absolutely brilliant. We all knew that the way he got Bournemouth taken when he was at Bournemouth, a very small club. I mean, relatively a very small club compared to the bigger guns in the Premier League. But he always overperformed with them.
They were a very stubborn side.
They got relegated, and he finally got a big gig. I mean, he was brought into Newcastle to manage a team for some time. Then they will bring in a bigger manager. But he's done so well. He's overperformed, and because of that, they've given him the full-time job, and he's doing wonders at Newcastle.
You've given him and Newcastle all the props, but in Manchester United, they are more wary of what to expect this weekend.
Everyone knows they're a pretty strong and intense team. Haven't conceded many goals this season. I think probably the best or the second best in Europe with less goals conceded. but it's more about us. It's more about what we can do toward them, what we can do in our intensity levels, passion levels, and quality-wise. Because we know that will be a pretty difficult final. Whatever was the opponent will be always difficult because it's a final. The desire, the passion to win a trophy is always at the highest. So it doesn't matter if it was Newcastle or other team, and I think we'll not change the desire to win from our side to their side. So we have at least to level that desire, that passion, and after put our qualities on the game and try to be better than them.
That was Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes. Nicholas, I'm going to come back to you shortly, but let me bring in Wadud now because you heard from Bruno saying that giving Newcastle their props, giving them their flowers, and also indicating that they have to level that playing field because that desire and all of that is going to work for Newcastle if Manchester United just lay back and sleep. They are playing a lot of swagger football, but how do you think Manchester United can overcome all of that swag?
With Bruno's comments, I think he doesn't really want to underrate Newcastle from the beginning of the game. He knows the threats and what Newcastle are capable of, especially this season, how they've been on fire, on rampage in the league. And even without some key players in their last games, they've been able to pull off some draws.
Red card and stuff like
the
that.
red card, they've been able to pull off some draws. But it's just some few games that they've not been really clinical and swift. That's why they've drawn those games. So Bruno doesn't really want to underrate them. But with the firepower United are having right now, I think they stand a better chance and are favourites against Newcastle going into the weekend.
Especially as their first choice goalkeepers are not around.
Yeah.
You speak about Nick Pope, he's suspended. Also speak about Dubravka, who is captain.
So they have to go with Loris Karius.
And if you look at it on the face value of everything, you think that is where Manchester United can profit.
Yeah, they can profit because with the form of Marcus Rashford, if you don't have a top goalie in post right now, Marcus Rashford can hurt you from any other angle. And missing out on Nick Pope is a very big blow for Newcastle going into this game.
I'm glad you mentioned Marcus Rashford, and I'm sure Forsen has some thoughts and views on Marcus Rashford and how he can be prominent this weekend. But there's a big but for Marcus Rashford.
I don't know. So players now coming in, we have to do investigations, medical, of course. Yesterday we did, but so straight after the game, most of the time you can't say we have to wait for 100% diagnosis. So let's do the medical, the work. We have to wait.
Erik ten Hag sweating over the injury situation of Marcus Rashford. He's not really fit for this game, unable to train as much as they would have wanted, as they are getting very close to a very big cup final. And it's big for Manchester United because they've not won anything since 2017. So Nicholas Forsen, just in case Rashford misses out, where is the glory going to come for United?
I mean, you look at Manchester United this season, and reluctantly, I have to admit they've actually, come at full circle earlier than expected under Ten Hag. We all knew how good a manager Ten Hag was at Ajax and everything, but he's gotten them to play as a team. They're pairing as a team unit, and I mean, it's obviously drawn a lot of envious eyes from other teams and other supporters. I think that United pose a threat through the wings these days. Anthony scored a very, very vital goal for himself and Manchester United yesterday. I'm not going to believe that Rashford won't play. I think he's available. Ten Hag is playing some mind games. That's why I read into it. But I think Anthony is going to be key. Of course, Bruno being the playmaker, the linchpin in midfield. We know how much of an impact Casemiro has had. You have Luke Shaw, who's been reborn in the fullback position. But I think the key for them will be Anthony, because head-to-head, he's going to go against someone who's always been like a laughing stock in the Premier League when you consider the fact that Newcastle United plays Dan Burn at the left back. He looks so awkward there. He's gangly. He's 6'6". It looks as if he can't do a job there. But, I mean, you have to give him some credit. So far this season, Newcastle have by far the best defense in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Probably they've considered the least goal, I think, in the top 5 leagues of Europe.
But to be a bit fair, some of that is also down to the heroics of Nick Pope, and he being out might bring some
I was
downsides
going to
to
get
it.
there. I feel that's a huge miss for Newcastle. They defend as a unit, so that helps the goalkeeper a lot. when you look at the consistency of Trippier, Botman, Fabian Schär, and as I mentioned earlier, Dan Burn, they've been their consistent back four in even most of the cup matches as well.
All right.
I think the defense itself works out, but the thing is, you need a prominent, you need a stable, a stabilizing effect from your goalkeeper. And unfortunately, Dubravka, who used to be there and was a very good goalkeeper, is captained, ironically, by Manchester United. Nick Pope is out, and it looks like the person they're going to rely on is someone who, in fact,
his most recent memory in football is from that 2017 final.
Exploits for Liverpool, and whether positive or negative, we also what happened in the Champions League final against Real
Nicholas, let's wrap up quickly, just 30 seconds, or even less than 30 seconds. Score predictions. I'll come to Wadud.
Yeah, I think Bruno Guimaraes coming back is key for Newcastle United. From a neutral point of view and the fact that I want Newcastle to win, I think they're going to do it by 2-1.
He wants Newcastle to win. That is not objective enough. Wadud, give me an objective answer.
Manchester United will win.
Okay.
A 3-1 win for Manchester United.
Wow, we've gone big on locker room tonight. You heard from Nicholas Forson 2-1 for Newcastle because he wants them to win. Wadud says 3-1. Wadud says 3-1 for Manchester United. We don't know why he's giving them that score line, but thank you guys so much for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
We have just about 30 seconds to wrap up, so let's do this very quickly. Ongoing in the Premier League, Fulham are taking on Wolves, and Fulham are one of the teams who are going under the radar. With a win tonight, they'll go in by just a point of the UEFA Champions League places. They are currently sixth. They are behind Newcastle, who are fifth, 38 and 41 points. So if they win, they move in to Tottenham Hotspur, who play Chelsea this weekend. There's no guarantee they're going to win that game. Good things coming in from Fulham. But this is how we draw the curtains on today's edition of The Locker Room with me, Michelle Kwete-Kweno. Do enjoy your lovely weekend. But the sports team has a lot for you this weekend, starting from tomorrow with the sports review on the Joy News channel from 7 a.m. up to 12 p.m. when when Sports Link comes your way. Then on Sunday at 4 p.m., Manchester United vs Newcastle in the Carabao League Cup final. We have live commentary with our partners at BBC on this same dial. That's 9.7 FM. So enjoy your weekend, and on Monday we bring you all the updates and all the wraps on the locker room. Not on the locker room, sorry, on the Joy Sports Center. Do enjoy your weekend.
FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
Hello, Guyana. It's here again. IES Foundation, in partnership with DPO Pay by Network, presents International Youth Empowerment Summit, IES Ghana 2023, happening on Wednesday, the 15th of March to Friday, 17th March. Speakers: Dr. Pauline Nenche, Nigeria; Dr. Franco Fosuapia; Reverend Eastwood Anaba; Apostle Leopold Mutombo, Congo; Dr. Yao Osei Duchu, Minister of Education; Dr. Ernest Ofori Sapon; Dr. George Ekufu-Dampari, IGP; Dr. Elsie Efa Kaufman; Mrs. Joyce Bawa Mokhtari; Samson Amwating, Daniel Amwating, and your host, Global Youth Ambassador, Pastor Brian Amwating. Venue: UPSA Auditorium, Medina. Time: morning session 9 a.m., evening session 5 p.m. Please note, Friday evening, 17th March, is the National Youth All Night, 8 p.m. prompt. And for the first time, there'll be the IES Job Fair on Wednesday, 15th March morning for all those looking for jobs. Sponsors: Access Bank, Fiesta Royale, YEA, First Atlantic Bank, NLA, Casapreco, Coraspa, Pay Angel, Excel Plus, 7 Mineral Water, Charger Limited, UPSA SRC, O1 Empire, and our official payment partner, DPO Pay by Network. Media partners: Joy Prime, Preach Media, Footprint TV, and ABN. For more information, call 0244 946 023 or 0240 574 835. It's free. IES. I will, I can, I must.
Joy 99.7 FM. All the hits and more.
In celebration of International Women's Day, media personality Nana Banamwa presents the maiden edition of Women of Valor, a movement of courageous women sharing untold, uplifting stories. Representing Nigeria is award-winning actress Omotola Jalade Ekainde, award-winning Supersport presenter Julia Stewart from South Africa, women and children's rights activist Eugenia Balfour Banco from Ghana, as they share their untold stories of courage to inspire us to greatness. Date Tuesday, 7th March 2023. Time 9 a.m. Venue Labadi Beach Hotel. The 2023 Women of Valor is in partnership with ALX, Joy 99.7 FM, GH1 TV, Star 103.5 FM, UTV, Peace 104.3 FM, Ghana Web, Kobe Chain News, Afrimax Network, Premier 369 Limited, Colormax, Wella Dazzles, Office & Co, Oh My Hair, Care Beauty Salon and Spa, Aligina Beauty Parlor, and Stannis Luxury Beauty Studio.
What's the best way to share a Jameson? Well, with a taste so smooth, Jameson fits into any crew. Whether it's chilling with old friends or vibing with new ones, there's always room for one more when there's a bottle of Jameson on the table. So pull up a chair, widen the circle. Jameson, triple distilled, twice as smooth. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons under 18 years of age. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
They say love is blind, but with HD Plus, you can see 5 times clearer. It is the season of love, and we want to show it 5 times more. Win over 5,000 prizes when you visit our website at hd-plus.com.gh. All you need is an HD Plus number. Spin the wheel of love and win big all through the month of February. Call 0242-439-872 for more information. HD Plus, the Feely experience.
Classical Lovers Show is a weekly compilation of the world's greatest compositions from the 17th to the 20th century. A unique combination of concertos, symphonies, orchestra, and nature sounds from the legendary composers in the classical repertoire. Join Jeffrey each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. till midnight for the very best of classical music by the legendary composers right here on Joy 99.7 FM.
Gripping conversations, business opportunities, and inspiring life stories in the engine room. We have it all. Tune in to Springboard, your virtual university with Reverend Albert Okran, this Sunday at 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM, Facebook, and YouTube. Catch the repeat telecast on Joy Prime every Saturday at 9 a.m. Sponsors: Enterprise Group, MTN Pulse, UMB Bank, and Central University. Media partners: Joy FM, Joy Prime, and Graphic Business. Springboard. Your personal value will shoot up.
Charlie, you know Dada. Give me club. Sailors coming up. Barman, one more round. As for my favorite chilled, crisp, refreshing club beer, it's absolute value for money. The taste alone is worth twice the price. Not to mention the crisp, the refreshing, the chill. And it's only 10 Ghana cedis. Yes, don't pay more.
Taste me a deep. Charlie, enjoy absolute value for money with crisp and refreshing club beer for just 10 Ghana cedis at your favorite bar and outlet. Taste to know you're deep. Drink responsibly, not for sale to persons below 18 years. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yo, let's take it back to the old school, slamming and breaking down the hits with DJ Black on the Weekend Warm on Joy FM.
Yo, what's going on, people? This is Sweet, UK's #1 rapper, UK's #1 G representative. And it's all about the Weekend Warmer on Joy FM with DJ Black. And I know a little bit of tree, so I'm going to say Achissa.
Yo, this is Blemish Black Storm. You're in the mix right now with the one and only monster of the game, DJ Black.
We can be in my Benz or a truck, Chasako or Choco, pizza or in Potom Poto, you always get yours. This is the Weekend Warmer, and it's your boy C-Real, the MCEO. We live right now with my man DJ Black. Let's get it!
Joy 99.7 FM.
Super Hits Radio. Joy 99.7.
Yo, let's take it back to the old school, slamming and breaking down the hits with DJ Black on the Weekend Warm on Joy FM.
Yo, what's going on, people? This is Sway, UK's #1 rapper, UK's #1 GH representer, and it's all about the Weekend Warmer on Joy FM with DJ Black. And I know a little bit of tree, so I'm gonna say achissa.
Yo, this is Blemish Blackstorm, and you're in the mix right now with the one and only monster of the game, DJ Black. We can be in my Benz or a drug truck, Trasako or Choco, pizza or bottom pot, you always get yours. This is the Weekend Warmer, and it's your boy C-Real, the MCO. We live right now with my man DJ Black. Let's get it.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yo, let's take it back to the old school, slamming and breaking down the hits with DJ Black on the Weekend Warm on Joy FM.
Yo, what's going on, people? This is Sway, UK's #1 rapper, UK's #1 GH representer, and it's all about the Weekend Warmer on Joy FM with DJ Black. And I know a little bit of tree, so I'm gonna say achissa.
Yo, this is Blemish Blackstorm, and you're in the mix right now with the one and only
Joy 99.7 FM. All you need on your radio and more.
Proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. Welcome to the Weekend Warmer, live on Joy 99.7 FM. Proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. We're coming to you live from Lagoon Bar, Labadi Beach Hotel. This is a live radio show wherever you are across the world. You can listen to us on my Joy Online app. Download it in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. That's what it is, y'all. We're jamming tonight from Labadi Beach Hotel, Lagoon Bar. My man Iggy in the studio. Shout out to the production team, Ziggy, Festus, Ropak, and my man DJ Twinkle. Let the games begin. We are here, baby. It's a Friday. Iggy, drop the bomb.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Do it now, do it now, do it now. Don't hate me, hate the money I see. Clothes that I buy, ice that I wear, flows that I try. Close your eyes, picture me rolling sixes, money folding, chickens, honeys that swollen the richest. Nas get in ya, most critically acclaimed Pulitzer Prize winner, best storyteller, thug narrator, my style's greater, model data, big threat to a lot of you haters. Commentators, ringside, try watching my paper, almost a decade, quite impressive. Most of the best is in the essence for this rap stuff that I stand for. Expanding more to the big screen.
Friday night, we're playing everything tonight. Throwbacks to I'm a piano to Afro beats, wherever we're doing everything tonight. Come on.
Here I go. Here
yes,
I go.
sir.
Here I go. Again, girls, what's my weakness? Hey.
Okay, good.
Chillin'.
It's Friday.
99.7 FM.
It's Friday. Had to kick it. I'm not shy, so I asked for the dick. I hope no. to my bag of tricks, then I flip for a tip. Made me wanna do tricks on them, lick them like a lollipop should be lit. Came to my senses and I chill for a bit. Don't know how you do the voodoo that you do so well. It's a spell, hell makes me wanna shoot, shoot, shoot. Shoot, better, shoot, better, shoot, better, 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 shoot, better, shoot, better, shoot, better.
Joy 99.7 FM.
We'll go to the mic. Okay, talk to me.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Back that thing up to me. Closer, oh, a little closer. Work it, come on and shake it on me now. Work it, come on and work it on me now. Work it, girl, it's getting heated now. Work it, it's time to put this club on fire now. Burn it up, come on, girl, make it hot like the roof is on fire. Burn it up, girl, the way you dance, you are my one desire. Burn it up. Girl, I don't care. The whole place burned down. Burn it up, burn it up, burn it up.
DJ Black.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Oh my God, I'm the man. I'm so fly and I can dance. There's tattoos on my neck. I just FaceTime Kanye. I
Told him I'm his biggest fan, yeah. Got all these in my DM. Yeah, I do. Hold up. Holy, I got a kid. Oh, I can sing so well. Wonder if I can say the N-word. Wait, can I really say the N-word? What up, my winner? What up, my winner? Big ups, my winner. We are my winner. You stupid little winner. Forget y'all winners. Cause I'm that winner, 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 winner. I'm that winner. I woke up in Chris Brown's body. So how this shit turned into Freaky Friday. But we got no choice but to turn this sideways. I can't believe that it's Freaky Friday. It's Freaky Friday. I'm in Chris.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I am not trying to do this. When I dance, they call me Macarena, and the boys they say que soy buena. They all want me, they can't have me, so they all come and dance beside me. Move with me, chant with me, and if you're good, I'll take you home with me.
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Now don't you worry about my boyfriend, the boy whose name is Vitorino. I don't want him, couldn't stand him, he was no good, so I... Now, come on, what was I supposed to do? He was out of town, and his two friends were so fine.
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosa buena. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, Macarena.
Like the turn of the whip, I snap attack, front to back, in this thing called rap. Digging like a shovel, rhyme double on a heavenly level. Bang the bass, turn up the treble. Radical mind, day and night all the time. 714, wise, divine, maniac, radiac, winning the game. I'm the lyrical Jesse James. Quality, I possess, some say I'm fresh. When my voice goes through the mesh of the microphone that I am holding. Copywritten lyrics so they can't be stolen if they all snap. Don't need the police to try to save them, your voice will see. So please, stay off my back or I will attack. And you don't want that.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Thought we were just friends, 'cause I miss you, baby. And I've got those feelings again. I guess I'm all confused about you. I feel so in love, oh baby. What can I do? I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. Oh baby, I've been thinking about you.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
It's
99.7 FM.
Here is the goal. Back with the bass, pajamas live in effect, and I don't waste time on the mic with a dope rhyme. Jump to the rhythm, jump to the rhythm, jump. And I'm here to combine beats and lyrics to make you shake your pants, take a chance. Come on and dance, guys. Grab a girl, don't wait, make a twirl. It's your world, and I'm just a squirrel. Trying to get a nut to move your butt to the dance floor. So yo, what's up? Hands in the air, come on, say yeah. Everybody over here, everybody over there. The crowd is live, and I'm through this food. Party people in the house, move.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I love this station.
Keep this frequency clear.
99.7.
It's
I love this station.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yo, check this out, this is Wayne Wonder, and I'm chilling with DJ Black on Joy FM.
It's Tutu, Mr. Black on the radio.
Joy 99.7 FM.
DJ Black. DJ Black.
Joy 99.7 FM.
It's Friday!
I love to shout. Big back like Nicki Minaj. Anytime she turn around, she got me over. I see the back, I know the doubt. The headlight, the steady flash. Come and give me that kitty cat. You turn me into a love. Wait, you must become my lady. Oh yeah, you drive me crazy. Yeah, I can't explain this feeling. See, my Soweto baby.
How long is past like my lover? The way you shaking your yash, baby girl, you give me fire. Girl, your body, girl's fire. Girl, you give me
Joy 99.7 FM.
How long is past like my lover? The way you shaking your yash, baby girl, you give me fire. Girl, your body, girl's fire. Girl, you give me fire. Girl, your body.
Black Rock Honey Whiskey is the blend of whiskey infused with natural honey. The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. It's the Weekend Warmer proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. Live from Lagoon
But sweet, before you go, make I give you for the last ana. Baby, tell me what you want. Do you want it from the front or you want it from the back ana? Make I give you for the last ana. Eh, then for salmon goodie, salmon goodie, salmon goodie, salmon goodie, salmon goodie, salmon goodie. Make I give you for the last.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. Black Rock Honey Whiskey is the blend of whiskey infused with natural honey. Black Rock Honey Whiskey has an inviting aroma and is smooth on the tongue. You can enjoy Black Rock Honey Whiskey straight on ice or with your favorite mixer for a relaxing experience. Another quality product from Casa Preco Company Limited. Drink responsibly. It's not for sale to persons under the age of 18 and not recommended for pregnant women.
Let me see you just burn up your waist. If you want my money, you must take your body. Baby girl, you didn't make me the greatest. All that
FM.
Ngithule profile. Sohlangana kwi-Facebook. Sohlangana khona. Ngithi song-accepta. Sohlangana kwi-Facebook. Sohlangana khona.
Joy 99.7 FM.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey.
Yellow bone, top to bottom. Organ impahla ezintomfo head to toe. Sawubona sweetness, ikamubani. Ngicela ukuba ngowakho mngani. Ngizokuthinta sithi uhlangana. Siblome sobabili sithubazana. Okwamanje don't take my number. Yeah, awusohlangana kwi-Facebook. Sure, I don't want your number. Sohlangana kwi-Facebook. I need to the profile. Sohlangana kwi-Facebook.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Sohlangana kwi-Facebook. Log on my profile. Update my status. Ngibatshele bonke gas. Awubethu umntana othopass.
Fakaza.
What are you choose?
Joy 99.7 FM.
What are you choose? Away. Away. Choose. Away. What are you choose? White chocolate, 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 white chocolate. What are you choose? What are you choose? What are you choose?
In celebration of International Women's Day, multiple award-winning media personality Nana Banamwa presents the maiden edition of Women in Valor, a movement of courageous women sharing untold, uplifting stories. Representing Nigeria's platinum award-winning actress Omotola Jalade Ekinde, multiple award-winning super sport presenter Julia Stewart from South Africa, and social entrepreneur, a woman and children's rights activist Eugenia Barfor Banko from Ghana, as they share untold stories of courage to inspire us to greatness. This event will take place at Alabadi Beach on the 7th of March 2023. The time is 9 a.m. Attendance is strictly by registration at womenofvalor.com. The 2023 Women of Valor is in partnership with ALX, Joy 99.7 FM, Afrimas Network, Premier 369, Colormax, Office & Co, Oh My Hair, Care Beauty and Salon and Spa, Allegenia Beauty Parlor, Weller Dazzles, and Stunners Luxury Beauty Studio. The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey.
Joy 99.7 FM.
That's what it is, y'all. Coming to live from Lagoon Bar, Labadi Beach Hotel. We're live on Joy FM. Y'all having fun tonight? Make some noise!
Joy 99.7
Shout out to you for representing Kenya tonight. If you're representing South Africa tonight. We're live on Joy FM, baby.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Let's go, let's go. You ready for the bass line? 1, 2, 3, hey. Going straight to Wakanda next.
Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
The weekend has landed.
Black Rock Honey Whiskey is a blend of whiskey infused with natural honey. Black Rock Honey Whiskey has an inviting aroma and is smooth on the tongue. You can enjoy Black Rock Honey Whiskey straight on ice or with your favorite mixer for a relaxing experience. Another quality product from Casa Preco Company Limited. Drink responsibly. It's not for sale to persons under the age of 18 and not recommended for pregnant women.
Joy 99.7 FM.
What's up, y'all? Having fun tonight. Make some noise! Wherever you are right now, join us at Lagoon Bar. We're live on your radio, Joy FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
This is live radio, baby. Let's go. My people from South Africa, holding it down. Representing Cape Town, Josie, wherever you are. Say Yebo Mama.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Hit us on WhatsApp 055-1111-997. Yes, yes. Let's go.
phakathi ugcwele ngami mawungenamali sophuza amanzi sondela dala ngiphethe imali awusisi ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho awukodwa ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho uzobabona tweli awusisi ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho ukuthi bambe kancane awukodwa ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho uzobabona tweli sondela mntwana ngithe ubani indaba ngitela inamba I hope yasifana mamela ke sweet ngifone nini ngizothinta emini ngolwesibili nangu nomini uhamba nopili umngane kasini kodwa sengijusile sextubile namagenga popile awusesiyahamba ngoba nami sengivukile awusisi ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho ukuthi bame kancane awukodwa ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho uzobabona tweli awusisi ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho ukuthi bame kancane awukodwa ngihamba nawe awunami ngihamba nawe tshela abangani bakho uzobabona tweli
Joy 99.7 FM.
DJ Black.
You know it's a Friday, y'all.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yebo mama, yebo mama, yebo mama ngizohamba ngizobuya. Yebo mama, yebo mama, yebo mama ngizohamba ngizobuya. Yebo mama, yebo mama, yebo mama ngizohamba.
The weekend has landed.
Joy 99.7 FM.
The weekend has landed.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey.
DJ Black.
99.7 FM.
Please help me, lady. I'm feeling dizzy. Oh, bring me something. Help me through the day. Everything is spinning around, round and round and round. Bring some more.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Hang on for love. Hang on for love. Hang on for love. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, let's get my time. Yeah, let's get my time. Oh, yeah. Oh, oh, oh.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami.
Unajifanya hunioni, labda mimi John Cena. Ulinifanya mfungwa wako, labda mimi Madiba. Sina plan, sina cash, hata pesa mi sina. Endo maana unanitreat kama nikuibia. Lakini mimi nimekupenda though.
Joy 99.7 FM.
We were just together though, on the same line, right president though. Some man I act rough like John Cena, some man I get buff like John Cena. We used to be cool when I used to come through, now you wanna act tough like John Cena. Some gala want beef like hyena, some gala get beat on Serena. A gala get loud, a gala get wild, some gala take shots like tequila. Hypo, unajifanya mwalimu wangu, labda we ni Nyerere. Nanfundisha kutulia, labda huna kelele. Takareka na Belinda, hata mimi mwenyewe. Ungependa kutulia, kati we unaenda mbele. Lakini mimi nimekupenda though, I don't know why you treat me like
Whatever will be
Joy 99.7 FM.
The weekend has landed.
Gripping conversations, business opportunities, and inspiring life stories in the engine room. We have it all. Tune in to Springboard, your virtual university with Reverend Albert Okran, this Sunday at 7 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM, Facebook, and YouTube. Catch the repeat telecast on Joy Prime every Saturday at 9 a.m. Sponsors: Enterprise Group, MTN Pulse, UMB Bank, and Central University. Media partners: Joy FM, Joy Prime, and Graphic Business. Springboard. Your personal value will shoot up.
Wesi, nansabe na unumi.
Whiskey.
Wesi pa. Wash. All of a sudden, my voice are different, and I will need to call. Hey, Barman, bring me the honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock whiskey.
Honey whiskey.
Charlie, honey near dear Frau. Black Rock whiskey is strong. Now to taste me is smooth, and it goes down easy. Excuse me. Barman. Wash. Barman, I beg, bring my friend one honey whiskey. You know the one? Black Rock honey whiskey.
Yeah, Black Rock honey whiskey.
Black Rock whiskey blended with real honey. Trebi, the feel is smoothness no.
Kasaprakon samwaju mapano bakunie. Nom ne nyansamu, won toma nipa woni fie dumotwe. And sesa pemfonum. FDA ahwehwe sa dwadi nkrato yi mu agya to mo se.
Aduna Hide, football from around the world. Feely on HD Plus from 17 January 2023. Score HD is available only on HD Plus channel 151.
Now more than ever, the world needs heroes. The people making an impact in your community. Everyday people making an extraordinary impact. It is time to celebrate greatness with the Joy News Impact Makers Awards. To nominate your impact maker, send an email to impact.makersawards@myjoyonline.com and fill out the submission form. Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating dedicated people with exceptional impact.
Welcome to Doddy World, Ghana's unique aquatourism destination experience, offering a unique package of adventure, life entertainment, fun, history, and education. We are situated on the beautiful banks of the Volta Lake, the second largest man-made lake in the world, and the hydroelectric dam in Akosombo, where nature awaits you with a multifold of excitement. Doddy World also has a magnificent reception facility, which houses the passenger and ticketing lounge, a restaurant, and an event hall overlooking the dam. Doddy World also provides access to boats and equipment for jet skiing, kayaking, sailing, pontoon rides, and sightseeing. For all your fun park activities, retreats, and conferences, contact the sales and marketing team on 050-142-1977 or sales@voltahotel.com.gh.
Joy 99.7 FM.
You got a secret, but I think I know it. You wanna let it out, but I go call you Ashi. You like to do it, do the I know you like the bunch, and you like the jazzy. You like it too, Baba, and you like Fali Pupa. And I know you love croissant, but you know you singing song. I thought as much you know, I do not blame you though. You wanna have them on, you know it's wrong, but the truth is that you're just an Oliver, twist. You just an Oliver, twist. You just an Oliver, twist. You just an Oliver, twist.
That's right. It's time to shake your bum bum.
When you know, say you know, get to bum bum.
If you don't have bum bum, don't shake it. We're South Africa, dear.
Do you must need the bum bum, shake your bum.
Shake, shake, shake.
You must need the bum bum, shake your bum bum, bum bum. You must need the bum bum, so the don don, don don. You must need the don don, hold the don don, don don. You must need the don don, so the don don, don don, don don, don. Need the don don, don don. You must need the don don, so the don don.
Joy 99.7 FM.
That's what it is, y'all. You guys listen to me on the radio. You have no idea. We're leaving Accra to Johannesburg tonight. Because this is it. Listen.
No matter where you go, remember the road that will lead you home.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock
No
Honey
matter
Whiskey.
where you go, remember the road that will lead you home.
Joy 99.7 FM.
That will lead you
99.7 FM.
We're live from Lagoon Bar, about to be to tell. It's a Friday weekend warmer brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. Iggy drop that bomb in the studio, y'all. We're out here at Lagoon Bar, wherever you are.
Joy 99.7.
Let's go. Hey.
Joy 99.7 FM.
DJ Black.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey. In celebration of International Women's Day, multiple award-winning media personality Nana Banamwa presents the maiden edition of Women in Valor, a movement of courageous women sharing untold, uplifting stories. Representing Nigeria's Platinum Award-winning actress Omotola Jalade Ekinde, multiple award-winning super sport presenter Julia Stewart from South Africa, and social entrepreneur, woman and children's rights activist Eugenia Barfor Banko from Ghana, as they share untold stories of courage to inspire us to greatness. This event will take place at Alabadi Beach on the 7th of March 2023. The time is 9 a.m. Attendance is strictly by registration at womenofvalor.com. The 2023 Women of Valor is in partnership with ALX, Joy 99.7 FM, Afrimas Network, Premier 369, Colormax, Office & Co., Oh My Hair, Care Beauty and Salon and Spa, Alleginia Beauty Parlor, Weller Dazzles, and Stunner's Luxury Beauty Studio.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
First of all, you're the type of woman that stays on my mind. Walk down the street, every guy wanna jump on your behind. It's your seduction that makes sure that we stay in line. Sexual corruption, cause I'll kill anyone for your time. Yeah. Even though I make real dough, you're the reason there'll be more, yeah. Yeah. Even though much more. I don't mind if you chuck my money. Chuck my money. Chuck my money. Cause I don't care. Chuck my money. Chuck my money. Chuck my money. Cause I don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I get a plenty. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Don't care. Stay with me.
He gave his finally. A body not die young baby. Who's supposed to live like family. Hey, I know the lie. There's nothing stopping me. She dey feel my swag and I get money. I dey try my best to be somebody. Cause I'm living life. This girl they make me higher. I dey feel this baby. You no go believe this girl not die. If you see this baby, tell I'm say she must chop my money. Chop my money. Chop my money. Cause I don't care. Chop my money. Chop my money. Chop my money. Cause I don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I don't care. Cause I get them plenty. I don't care. I don't care.
That's right,
I don't care. I don't care. Cause you know they empty.
1, 2, 3, let's go. You know the word, say, hey, hey. Coming to a live from Laguna. Shout out to Mr. David Ediafo. Holding it down somewhere in the city.
It's Mr. Mayday.
Let's go.
Got the love me get for you, not Jackie Chan. Some assault and stunts for you, you know I can.
That's right, y'all.
Farabaleko malole, omwele I get pepe. Jempa soro kilo shele. If you see her eyes, you don't go believe she's looking at me. Right eyes.
If you see this baby, then I'm saying she must chop my money. Chop my money. Chop my money. Cause I don't care. Chop my money.
Back up.
Chop my money. Chop my money. Cause I don't care. See, the way you whine, it make me go down low, down low. The way you whine, it make me go down low, down low. All my ladies shake up your bum bum. The girl them shake up your bum bum. The girls them shake up their bum bum. You don't matter where you come from. Oh no 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 no. This girl she a calling my phone. Yeah. Oh no 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 no. This girl she no won't let me go. Every day she follow me for Twitter. Next thing she want me guy finger. She want me to answer. Every night she want me guy finger. Baby shake up your bum bum. Shake up your bum bum. Your bum bum. Ladies shake up your bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. The way she dey whine, girl you mess up my mind. The way you roll your behind, if you make a man to go blind. Girl, me love you topito. The way she my music is sweet oh. The way she dance it oh. Everybody them I love it oh. Yeah. She got your bum bum. Everybody rap a bum bum. Yeah. She got your bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. See the way you whine, they make me go down low, down low. Oh no no no. Shake up your bam bam, your bam bam, your bam bam. See, oh no no no, yeah. My body not there yet, but my mind not there yet. Me I like it in la, and yeah, I'll give it to you. So I know what you want. I'm still on the bam bam, All you got to shake up your bam bam.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM. All you need on your radio and more.
koto. You know me, I too like popo. Nothing you find go so koto. Me, I get them for shokoto. Baby, your body roboto. Make up and I'm like kokoso. Make up like you go opoto. Oyibo make me chokoto. Yeah, and bed. Kilo day, tang bed. Yeah, and bed. Double XL, long way. One berry. Berry for me, one berry. Ó ti pẹ́ tójú mi ti ń lẹ́rì. Ó ti pẹ́ jù lágbẹ́rì. Ló ṣe mi yẹ tó jẹ́ tópó. Èsì yìí fẹ́ tó sókótó. Ṣàwọn lẹ́bà. It's your body dey rokoto. Make us spin am like kokoso. Make up like you go opoto. Ṣàwọn lẹ́bà. Ṣé
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
99.7 FM.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey.
Joy 99.7 FM.
The weekend has landed.
Oh my God. Ziggy, I need to hold my laptop for me. It's falling down. Ziggy, where are you? Help! Yes.
Joy 99.7 FM.
We gotta bring in more bass right now. Now bounce. You ready for the bass line? Let's go. Come on.
99.7 FM. Joy 99.7 FM.
I love this station.
The weekend has landed.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I'm not playing with you, I'm not joking. My thought I'm on load. Moving back up, I'm on board. I'm on duty, but I'm on low. They want do me, they want do me, they want do me, gonna want do me. Gonna want do me. Gonna want do me.
That's what it is, yo. Out here at Lagoon Bar by the Beach Hotel, representing GH to the fullest. I've got beautiful ladies from South Africa. Make some noise, babies. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's go. Shout out to my homeboy, Nana.
Baby, follow my command, like zombie. Go down on me, yo, with your coca body. Follow my command, like zombie. Go down on me, yo, with your coca body. Cause this your milky for front enough for me. Hold on for me, I no go do me corny. And if you're milky na fighty, I saw me to look. Gelato honey, oh baby, sumoyo di. Baby, gonna waka waka when you enter Malicha. Baby, gonna will you give me sugar and wahala? Macho Mona Lisa, 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 Macho Mona Lisa.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Sweep you off your feet. What up, so she said, make some time for me, time for me. See for this happy and you tap like hush for me. We walking next there, please show them your best. Baby, hope you know you like to my day. Girl, you know you're all that I need. Give me the love, you can't run away. I can't deny. One back of man, them one come try. But my love just takes you high. All them I talk about you and I. Nobody listen to
Joy 99.7 FM.
If I'm in love, it's for a reason. Gonna waka waka when you enter Malicha.
to knock on my head, my neck, my waist. But I still want that.
Joy 99.7 FM.
My head, my neck, my waist. But I still want that. I want that. My head, my neck, my waist. But I still want that. I want that.
Joy 99.7 FM.
How the thing goes. Okay. Chevy make a tamua. Say my pina go join God. You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, get the kitty, you the wrong, get a coffee drink with a chop cup. Hey, so you see how the thing goes. How the thing goes. Oh, you're telling me who blends you? And who? Alright, take it easy, and let's play some behind points. Okay. No we can't use. Go school, you go the fam tools. And all the parameters that you want to form to. See, even your papa not to save you. For all the cannabis when they pick it done do. Man, all the niggas don't find you. Because that nigga when you play on my don't move. Oh my don't move. Ha, hey, come on let's go. Chevy make a tamua. Say my pikin and go join God. You want to bamba? You wanna G with the big boys? Now you the wrong, get the kitty, you the wrong, get a coffee drink with a drop cup. Ha. Let the frequency clear. Let me see how the thing goes. I said, tell me who blends you. And who? Okay.
The Weekend Warmer is proudly brought to you by Black Rock Honey Whiskey.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I want to flex my love. I want to impress. And I want to carry my love away to a place she loves. I want to impress. And I place she loves.
That's what's up. Shout out to Monty, shout out to Vidash, shout out to Tab, and beautiful Kavish holding it down. Shout out to Malaika.
And I want to carry my love away to a place she loves.
Shout out to Ross Quakes.
I want to impress. And I want to carry my love.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Let's go now. That's right, yeah. Shout out to Kavish, Tab, Vidash, Morty. Having a good time here on the body. Big up. Yes. I better get you. Big up yourself.
Joy 99.7 FM.
We're live from La Bani Beach Hotel, Lagoon Bar. Live radio. Yes. Let's go.
I want to flex my love.
Come on. My homeboy Victor on the corner. All the real fans of DJ Black, what's up, bro? Big up. Let's go. Oh yeah. Who's falling in love tonight?
Joy 99.7.
Is it you or MC Quakes?
I'm falling in love with you, oh. I've made up my mind for you, oh. No matter the way that I get with you, oh. I'm falling in love with you, oh. I've made up my mind for you, oh. No matter the way that I get with you, oh.
Joy 99.7 FM.
I know go ever leave you lonely. Make them hear me very well. I know they go anywhere. Maybe more than give for life. I know go do you anyhow. Baby, you're my number one. I'm falling in love with you, oh. I've made up my mind for you, oh. No matter the way that I deal with you, oh.
Joy 99.7 FM.
UK's #1 rapper, UK's #1 GA representer. And it's all about the weekend warmer on Joy FM with DJ Black. And I know a little bit of tree, so I'm gonna say achissa.
Yo, check us out, this is Wayne Wonder, and I'm chilling with DJ Black on Joy FM.
Funny from, funny from, funny from, funny, funny from. Whoa, yeah, sit there. Allah, whoa, yeah, funny from. Whoa, yeah, sit there. Allah, whoa, yeah, funny from, funny from, funny from, funny from, funny. Funny from Allah, whoa yeah, sit there. Allah, whoa yeah. Funny from Allah, whoa yeah, sit there. Allah, whoa yeah, whoa yeah.
Mozambique #1, Nigeria #1, Puerto Rico #1, Costa Rica #1. Chave, 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 chave.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Don't walk it, don't try. You supposed to be jai. Kill up, mommy, come person, my dog, person, we don't mind, boy. When I land softly on the sofa floor. So far, so good, Connie Bajo. Let me see you. Oh, lo, lo, lo. Let me see you. Oh, lo, lo, lo. Let me see you. They will. Oh, lo, lo, lo. Let me see you. Oh, lo, lo, lo.
Shout out my homeboy Victor on the corner. Big up yourself, y'all. That's right. Go low. Exercise time.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
My baby want to take control. Sexy, para ballet. So you want to take charge? Oh, okay, girl, I know mind. Go do your thing, girl, I'll be quiet. Yeah, I know lie. Baby, when I say it's your time, you say make her hold tight. Now she says she want give me African waist like Tiwa. She want give me that work like Rihanna. Yeah, Cherry Bush, she rotate TD like a tire. Yeah, she dey make man stand ovation. Abaka don't cause inflation for the nation. You say you want me love to the next line. Oh, you tell me say you don't want to waste time. Oh, you say them other girls have to stand in line. Oh, you tell me say they go watch how we slow wine. Oh, you say you want to take control. Yeah, you say you want to take control. The way she dey do me, oh baby, control. See the way you dey roll it, oh baby, control. See my baby want to take
DJ Black.
Aouda. Yes, sir. What's that? I don't know. My woman, my everything. My woman, I go feel buy you anything. My woman, my everything. My woman, I go feel give you anything.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Woman, you proper, woman, you straight. Man, a brother, your genetic trait. Waiting for you was never too late. Remember, say you want the food in on the plate. Yeah, I love me dedicate, and it is so concrete. And we never lose faith for making you my soulmate. Get this one straight. Say, are you married? No matter how them get, they can tell you any date. Do you anything, on the bed? First thing, early money, medicine. You want me everything. No, me woman to me, you mean everything. My woman, my everything. My woman, I go feel you anything. My woman, my everything.
I've fallen in love with you, oh. I've made up my mind for you, oh. No matter the way that I deal with you, oh. I've fallen in love with you, oh. I've made up my mind for you, oh. No matter the way that I deal with you,
Joy 99.7 FM.
Up to the time, yo. Yeah, tell you what the girl with them horn, man. You know.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Your boyfriend here for you. Nothing where you wanna do here for you. You are good as in class here for you. And him a go buy the big house this year for you. Okay, and your boyfriend get it for you. And him a the bonafide baby for you. No girl can't import no struggle for you. Say she hot, she not ready for you. First thing, she don't look at the black face brown. Tell her don't do that. Be a freak, have one man alone you got. And not any store where they don't go in your shop. Keep up down, have you do that. Carry money go hold your hand. You do that, no, you're too high to go through to that. Now she ugly, you figure shaka Zulu that. Call the zoo to that. Go wrong, your boyfriend here for you. Nothing where you wanna do here for you. You are good as in class here for you. And him a go buy the big house this year for you. Go girl, your boyfriend get it for you. And him a the bonafide baby for you. No girl can't import no sugar for you. Say she hot, she not ready for you.
Bring it. What?
Joy 99.7 FM.
Dance floor pro, I know, you know, I go psycho when my new joint hit. Just can't sit, gotta get jiggy with it. That's it, now honey, come ride. DKNY, all up in my eye. You got a Prada bag with a lot of stuff in it. Give it to your friend, let's spin. Everybody looking at me, glancing a kid. Wishing they was dancing the jig. Here with this handsome kid. Sick a cigar right from Cuba. I just bite it, it's for the look.
I don't like it.
Ill way to ammo on the hands.
Evelyn Antechua.
Make it feel like
from across Technical University, listen to us. From Jeffrey.
Big Willie Styles all in it. Getting jiggy with it.
That's right, y'all.
Getting jiggy with it.
Shout out, better get ya, big up.
Jiggy with it.
Shout out Hajia Blues from Sola.
What? You on the ball with your kid? Watch your step, you might fall trying to do what I did. Mama, I'ma come close side in the middle of the club with the rubber dub. No love for the haters, mad cause I got floor seats at the Lakers. See me on the 50-yard line with the Raiders. Met Ali, he told me I'm the greatest. I got the fever for the flavor of a crowd pleaser. DJ play another from the president, your highness. Only bad chicks riding my whip. South to the west, to the east, to the north. Bump my hips and watch them go off. And yes, sure. And you don't stop in the winter order. Summertime. I makes it hot, getting jiggy with them. Getting jiggy with
Joy 99.7 FM.
It's Friday! Joy 99.7 FM.
She was checking up on me from the game. She was speaking
DJ Black.
She know me. Decided to cheat. Conversation got heavy. She had me feeling like she's ready to blow. Watch out! She's saying, "Come get me, come get me." So I got up and followed her to the floor. She said, "Baby, let's go." When I told her, I said, "Yeah." When it got down, she said, "Come and get me." I got so caught up, got she told me. Her and my girls, you be the best of me. Next thing I knew, was all up on me screaming.
She just my part-time lover, pretty little thing. Nothing I would ever think about giving a ring. Nothing but a pretty little overnight fling. Even though she wanna be the queen to my king, she ain't nothing but a work woman.
Pull get the party up, get the party up, pull get the party up, get the party up, pull get the party up, get the party up, pull get the party up. Get up, get up.
That you've been waiting for me, I'm waiting too. In my imagination, I'll be all up for you. I know you got that fever for me, 102. And more than I know, I've never seen my type of just do the room. If it's a camera up ahead, then it's only you with me what I do, I do. If it's a camera up ahead, then I best not catch this look on YouTube, YouTube. Cause if you're on your mouth and brag about your secret rendezvous, I will hunt you down. Cause baby, I'm up in my business like a wedding interview. This is proud between you and I. Touch my, 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 body. Put me on the floor, listen me around, living this some more. Touch my body, put me on the bed. I just wanna make you feel like you know it. Touch my body, let me rub my eyes, open my ways, just a little taste. Touch my body, when you like my curves, come on and give me what I deserve. And touch my
Hey ladies, I can't hear you. Hey fellas, make noise.
Bump it up. Bump it up.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Big DJ Ox making an Ari. Big DJ Ox making an Ari. Big DJ on a big DJ Ox making DJ Ox making an Ari. Big DJ Ox making an Ari. Big DJ Ox making an Ari.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Duck a dill dill dill, tell a boy get killed. Duck a dill dill dill, you better shine on the will. Duck a dill dill dill, a boy get killed. Duck a dill dill dill, look up in the barrel. Limb by limb, we a go cut them down, send for the oxa. Take out the tongue. Limb by limb, we a go cut them down, send for the oxa. Take out the tongue with him.
Walk like a champion, walk like a champion. What a piece of money, girl, tell me where you get it from. Up on your entrance, ram pa pa pam pam. Can't let me in, me have the thing where you are waiting.
Bossy, bossy, Godfather, man a OG, man a half humble, man a bossy. Fling a rag a rhythm like it's all free. Bossy, house on the coast G. My money so long it doesn't know me. It's looking at my kids like I'm bossy.
Bang bang bang, hey.
Hey yo, Idris, tell them what they're gonna take the.
the chocolate. Yo, Wiley. Them ones sound like me. Other than a pretty with the okra body. Shut down in the city with me bad girl. Every man want piece of me. The back of them a pop and them a bun. Man want wine behind me. Me have to move kind of dusty. I'm looking for a brother who got in the phone. 79 baby, I'm a hammer. Did you stop?
Bossy, bossy, Godfather and a OG. Man a half humble and a bossy. Fling a rag a rhythm and it's so free. Bossy, house on the coast. My money so long it doesn't know me.
Iggy, I know.
Hey, yo, Sean.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Energy, I no get time for no enemy. Tori pe pole to me. Nothing with person never see. I'm on nothing with person never see. Forget it, I say bashi. Money soon expected. Take our body, I jump. I take her to the person. I'm in the answer, yes, sir.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Respect is reciprocal, even though I know say special. Anybody, when no one does surgery. Anybody, when no the carry body. I can't something, I can't something. Go back to I can't something. You want your bed, you never go. Should not because myself I never go. I love you, love you.
From the first time that I set my eyes on you, baby, I was stuck on you. I'm on me a cut for you. Make my body call for you, all for you. Went back inside my dream to search for you. Looking like a dream come true, cause you make my dream come true. Baby, I will stand by you, with you. Cause you are my woman, womanly. Cause you are so woman, sweet. Come and Mr. Roman, romantic. Come and make you feel good, oh, romantic. Cause you are my woman, womanly. Cause you are so woman, sweet. Come and Mr. Roman, romantic. Come and make you feel good, oh, romantic. Trips to show you, show them. Let's show them. We could let London know. Yeah, my baby so romantic. Oh yeah, baby, make we show them. Let's show them. We show them. We could let them all know. Yeah, my baby so romantic, yo. Ooh, she romantic, yo. So romantic, yo. She feeling like romantic, yo. So my baby so romantic, she's she romantic, yo. So romantic, yo. She feeling like romantic, yo. So my baby so romantic, yo. Feelings that I have for you, baby boy, you know it's true. Never mind them, cause you just wanna tell us you. Big boo, cause when you put me plus you, it's gonna be unstoppable. Baby, come on over, got a kiss for you. Waiting on you. You know I know what is good for you. I can make your dreams come true. I'll be a womanly.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Romantic. See, you make me feel good, Mr. Romantic.
Body they draw me like a bono. Body they rising like a no.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Rocoto, no good is locoto. Kelly they bossy my pololo. Can make a salute your comodo. Girl, if you balance, yeah, go.